Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to the Big Think Dimension with Dan and Bob Video Games. Who's that Pokemon? It's Darkrai, Chris Wolfhard,
Is this how you honor the sixth house in the tribe unmourned?
and Dr. Aggro.
Is my company vile? No. No, it's the unions who are wrong.
Here on Gigaboots.
I fucking hate that guy so much.
Yeah, part of me's like, man, I wish he sounded like Bobcat Goldthwait. I'm not against unions. I just, the good ones are fine. That actually would be tolerable. Because obviously he's a farce of a human at that point. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Big Think Dimension number 224. This is the one where... This is the one where we talk about Mighty Number 9.
Yeah, there's only one of those.
Yeah, there's only one. This is the
Yeah, we
only one.
definitely don't do that at least once a month somehow, some way.
I definitely have not spoken about Mighty Number 9 as a game any of the 223 other times we've done this show. But first, okay.
Uh-huh.
We played Pikmin 2.
Oh, yeah.
The best way to describe the difference between Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2, which is very tangible.
Yes.
Pikmin 1 is a game where you land on a planet and your ship was wrecked and you must collect the parts to escape from the overworld. Pikmin 2 is a game where you loot a planet for money to pay off a debt for your company by going into deep, winding, seemingly randomly generated caves and get loot. And occasionally do things on the overworld.
Right. The overworld is probably 20% of that game. It's weird.
Yes.
Yeah, that was bizarre watching. I'm like, is most of it really just these fucking death levels underground? Jesus.
It is truly strange that that's the case. I didn't check the framing on this. Bob's like out of frame.
Oh, man. Which way is this?
It's
this way?
I can
This
move the
way.
camera,
Oh,
Bob.
okay.
I can digitally, in post, we can fix the framing.
When you use a digital zoom to do the work of a man, you
Uh-huh.
diminish the man.
I hate those motherfuckers so much.
Bob, do you feel diminished because you didn't get up and reframe the camera?
No, I don't.
Do you feel diminished because you didn't have to move like a foot to your right?
Not really.
That's good exercise you could have gotten. Maybe you have been diminished. Aggro thinks less of you now.
Oh, no. Don't diminish me, aggro.
Bob's shrinking the more you do it. Soon he will turn into a corn cob. Yeah,
Is-
Pikmin.
Is that where Bob's come from?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I didn't ask his mom.
This is some like old school Thumbelina shit.
I don't need that animated story where it's just like I'm imagining like what was it, 12 Crazy Nights tier animation quality, where it's the Adam Sandler like that animation quality, and it's like here's our version of Thumbelina. It's fucking weird. Anyways, hey guys, what's up?
Directed by David Jaffe.
Pikmin 2 is a video game. I enjoyed it. Bob, did you enjoy it?
Not really.
Bob does not like Pikmin, is what we're becoming incredibly familiar with as a notion this month.
Yeah, looking at Pikmin from the outside, what I always assumed, it's a kind of simplified RTS made for a controller that's easy to play and kind of like baby's first RTS. Instead, Pikmin is a psychotic RTS, which is with an incredibly hard to control character that's all about skill shots.
I wouldn't say all about skill shots. I wouldn't say that.
I would say that.
You're
I would
really bad at aiming. I don't know. I think
it's harder to aim than any RTS I've ever played.
if this is this is like if someone was inherently terrible at platforms, then like Mega Man's all about perfect jumps, right? That's the equivalent. Because you can spray and pray a lot in this game.
I can play a MOBA in skill shot better in any of those than I can in Pikmin, because the aimer in Pikmin is rough.
I'm trying really hard to not be like, Bob, my 10-year-old sister who doesn't play video games beat Pikmin 2.
I'm sure if you just keep playing it. eventually
No,
it makes
she
sense.
did it in one sitting live on Twitch.
Look, I've seen 10-year-olds play video games. They don't fuck around.
They're in it to win it. They can play a first-person shooter on a phone. That is a deeply horrifying skill set I will never understand.
It's true.
I remember I got the iPhone 5S. I don't know, one of those 5, maybe just 5 regular, and they were like, "Check this out! Mobile companies are making a Halo, like a bootleg Halo," and I was like, "Oh, this is an incredible looking game." I have no fun playing this. This is like if I had to do sex with dowel rods. I don't like puppeteer the two things to fuck each other. Is this erotic?
Yeah, you think you're a badass at gaming, and then somebody's like, play Fortnite on phone for 30 seconds, and I'm like, no, please, I'm sorry.
Yes, it is Nova by Gameloft. Thank you. That name had long left my brain.
Man, Gameloft really did put out a ton of like knockoffs of other games that looked surprisingly nice for mobile, but were trash.
Yeah, because it sucks to play them on a phone. Like at the end of the day, that was the number one thing.
I remember some of them even got ported to the Vita and was like, oh no, this game was just always bad. Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It was a racing one.
I'm sure. Asphalt?
Yeah.
I actually enjoy Asphalt.
All right.
I don't really want to play it on the... And I can't bring myself to play Asphalt on the Switch because that feels weird. Because Asphalt 7 or whatever's on the Switch.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, no, that series is still going.
God, yeah, I think I played the first one.
Yeah, I don't doubt that the first one's bad. It's the first one.
Right.
But yeah. Anyway, what the fuck were we talking about before? Oh, you
Pikmin
suck
too.
at Pikmin.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if I play Pikmin, there's a chance that we lose Pikmin, so it's just like, oh, I shouldn't touch it.
Yeah.
Because then
No,
it's
that's
like,
fair.
go back to the surface and then redo everything and regrow Pikmin.
You got to spend a day to grow Pikmin, but at least in Pikmin 2, that's not risking...
It's not risking
entire
failing in a run. It's just
Yeah.
risking failure, wasting an hour, basically.
Yeah. Maybe not an hour. I don't think the days are that long in Pikmin.
Yeah, 30
Because
minutes or something.
But here's the thing. I can't do the division because when you go into the caves, you have infinite time.
Yeah, you
the
have
caves
infinite-
are hyperbolic time chambers.
Yeah, the caves are ludicrous. It's like, one run of a cave will take an hour.
And then, like, you'll do 4 floors of a cave. That'll take an hour.
Yeah.
And then when you leave, it'll be like, no time has passed.
Right.
You go, why? This is the one where I don't have to worry about time passage.
You would think that you would just do the cave, and then when you get out, it's like, well, that's it. You're done for the day. But I guess that would leave you the possibility of, you have some Pikmin just hanging out
just
somewhere
hanging
else,
out.
and we'll just die.
And they get screwed.
We need like the Pikmin where you go into the cave and you come out and it's like fucking Gunbuster. The ending where Olimar returns home.
So Pikmin 1 has like a Dead Rising thing. Okay. Where it's a time schedule and it's tight.
Right.
And you need to try to figure out how to do it all. Then Pikmin 2 really doesn't. Okay. And then Pikmin 3, as people have told me, is a mixture of both. I have no idea. I've never watched anyone play Pikmin 3.
Yeah. People are saying that Pikmin 3 gives more of a balance between those elements, so maybe that'll be...
Who knows? Maybe it's
Good.
just a lax time schedule.
Maybe.
So we sat there wrestling with how are we gonna do Pikmin 3 on the channel? Is it gonna be the Wii U one? If it is the Wii U one, we have to ship that. And that'll take some time. It's gonna be the Switch one. We gotta find it at like a GameStop. And then we realized the incredible opportunity that is GameStop's return policy. And so I bought a used copy of Pikmin 3 for Switch from GameStop. Because I could love that game and want to play it afterwards, which is part of the reason I didn't want to get it on the Wii U, because I never want to play anything on the Wii U because it involves using the Wii U.
It does.
But if it is somehow bad, I could just return it. And then that money can go towards something else in the future.
Speaking of the Wii U, I saw this insane take on Twitter the other day that I have to bring up just because it's so unfathomably deranged.
Okay.
It was the Switch 2. Nintendo can't just make a Switch 2.
Oh, no.
Because the Wii U was a Wii 2, and that failed. So obviously just making a Switch with better specs is not the right way to go. And it was so... I struggled not to light them up.
Yeah, that's like
Not just be like,
missing.
okay, here's the Super Nintendo, the Game Boy Advance, the 3DS, all these things that are literally just upgrades of the old thing and did fantastic. But no, you have to go to bat for the fucking thing that has a Blu-ray drive but no hard drive.
Great.
That's so frustrating because it's also named wrong.
Right.
Like it literally is like everyone thought it was an expansion because it looks like a Wii and has a tablet, so they're not gonna just buy a tablet.
Right.
God,
It's better because it's better hardware. Please ignore the fact that it was still a console shipping at the end of a console generation, worse than the consoles that were about to be obsolete.
yeah.
Yeah. That person just reminds me that one of the more horrifying realizations I've had as I go into my adulthood, deep into my adulthood, I go, you know, there are motherfuckers out there who literally don't perceive the world as a functioning entity and system that you might say don't have object permanence almost mentally for concepts and society as an organism, right? They just randomly engage with every point of data on their path through life, and they have not connected one dot successfully to another. And I would say that was that person.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand what happened with the Wii U other than the Wii was great and then everyone hated the thing after it. I have been loving Pikmin month, and thank God, because Eric touched the controller and nearly exploded with Pikmin 1, then was mysteriously missing for Pikmin 2. Bob is fucking hating it and also doesn't want to sink the stream by drowning 80 children. So, you know, it's a good thing I'm enjoying Pikmin so damn much.
God, I can't wait until the 3DS game when you're both just like completely melting. It's like, they sure did this.
We've had a conversation off stream where Bob and I are like, what if it's the nuts and bolts? And we both loved this one.
I'm convinced that game is just fine, but not a Pikmin game. And that thus people hate it. Sorry, Chris, what were you going to say?
It's a really late life 3DS game.
Right, so it's sin. It's sinful.
I mean, it's
We're
sinful.
all aware.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like there's gonna be this thing of, there's barely a game here. Why is it 8 hours long?
Yeah, that thing's a huge chunk, isn't it? Like 9.5 or something.
It's really long.
Stupidly huge number. Yeah. I don't know. I'm
We'll
optimistic.
have some fucked up Metroidvania structure. You're like, oh, we don't have purple Pikmin yet. We can't get through this breakable floor.
God. And then I just send a copy to David Jaffe. Like, let's see what he does. If shooting the wall was too much, what is he gonna think about? You know how this chunky plant boy. Yeah, I'm really enjoying Pikmin month, but something happened deep into the Pikmin 2 stream, and I'm not playing this up for entertainment value or anything else. You could ask this man. He saw the change in me occur. Someone on Twitter, I believe, right after the stream or in the chat at the very end of the Pikmin 2 stream was just like, I hope Pikmin 4 is good. And that was the first moment it entered my brain that it wouldn't be. And I dropped deep into despair and terror as I'm like, oh no, I shouldn't get that game at launch. What was I thinking? Oh my God, it might just be dog shit. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
that's a very, like, I feel like Pikmin 3, if it's just wildly different from 1 and 2, then no, do not get it at launch.
But I'm scared because it's been long enough from Pikmin 3 even that this could be like, well, here's why we didn't show you much of the game. Because we still have not seen the game.
True.
Yeah,
That's
it's crazy.
I'm still banking on it being our first true Pikmin Muso.
Oh, wow. Game of the year. Wow. Nintendo shipped 2 games of the year. We must bring both in as kings.
Well, you see, they teased it. They teased it with the with that trailer showing it at night. It's actually going to be the first Nintendo's first Souls-like.
Why would you do this to me?
That is so deranged, it would probably whip ass.
Vegetation regained.
You go through a fucking fog gate and the dude from the end of Pikmin 1 is just there, but like this, you're now like, your camera's now like at Olimar's eye level, so it's just enormous.
You try to throw a fucking Pikmin overhead and it hits the ceiling and cancels the throw, and then you get stabbed to death by a fucking Bulborb or something.
He starts doing the jumping move and the lock-on breaks just like a Souls game.
Then he tracks you perfectly no matter what you do.
That actually, now that you compare it to that actually is kind of how the combat works in Pikmin, where it's just like, yeah, you threw a bunch of Pikmin on me. I'm now going to jump and drop all those Pikmin, which is kind of like when in a Souls game, your lock just drops because they jumped a bit. It's kind of mechanically similar in that sense of like, okay, everyone get up. We got to do it again.
Yeah.
That's horrifying. I don't like this topic. I do see chat purple Pikmin fat rolls. I do want to see the fatty roll from Dark Souls applied to a purple Pikmin model. That would be great. Because the only thing that can make that animation funnier is if it's a tiny carrot boy rolling that slow with anti-gravity. Because you look at that roll and it's like, that doesn't... What?
Right. Chad also tried to convince us to play 100% Pikmin 2.
There you go. That is the correct phrasing.
Which feels crazy.
Chat's like, you didn't beat the game. I'm like, chat, I saw credits. Yeah, we escaped the planet.
Right? Like, that was actually a legitimately satisfying ending.
It was funny. It was also funny as shit.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that game has 200 treasures you have to fucking get.
Yeah, it's 204.
Like that.
And so you also need to complete every challenge mission, which were like in a separate
for the
menu.
truest ending
right.
thing, yeah. Yeah, that wasn't happening, guys. I don't... Yeah.
It was like, you can count on one hand how many games you 100%ed on stream. It's one game.
It's a cracking time, baby.
Yes.
And even then, I bet we didn't 100% that. We just got a platinum.
That's true. Getting the platinum probably
is close enough.
Right.
Close enough.
But yeah, Louie never made it back good. Yeah. No, that was...
Yeah, Louie is clearly an antagonist that entire game. I don't know why you would think anything else.
Which, slight spoilers for Pikmin 2, an absolutely ancient video game. It's 20 years old, but I'm playing the Dragon Quest music anyways. Louie actually is a villain. And that is the funniest fucking twist. Apparently in the true ending, they're like, no, he was behind everything. He's a mastermind. He's an absolute piece of crap. Kill him. Anyway. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Pikmin 3 tomorrow. If it's great, that's great. Now I get to have it on the Switch and get to play it more down the road. And if it's just good, then that's great because I get to return it to GameStop using their own policy to get all of my money back and throw it towards some other fucking video game.
Like Pikmin 4.
Like Pikmin 4. It's funny because I have like $35 trading credit, which I used towards Pikmin 3, which was $50. And then I would be using $50 trading credit towards Pikmin 4, which is $60. It would have been so funny if they tried to charge $70 for Pikmin 4.
God, I think that that's the point where everybody's like, no, what are you doing? No, I know you're Nintendo. You think you can get away with this, but that was Zelda. This is Pikmin.
That would have been their Returnal moment.
Yes. Like, that's...
Guys.
At least 2 tiers below.
Fellas. What are we doing? They need to show more of Pikmin 4 so I can stop living in absolute terror.
I'm sure we'll see something at whatever sort of event they have. Wait a second.
Yeah, exactly. Nintendo's going to do an event in August to be like, by the way, this is the game we released last month.
Right? We're going to get the Pikmin Direct. It's fine.
And it'll be 1 month late because it's in August.
Jesus.
Yeah, anyways, I'm good. I'm good talking about Pikmin. Do you want to say?
No, I don't really have anything else to say.
I like the soundtrack for 1 a lot bit more.
Oh, yeah. The soundtrack was way better in 1, weirdly.
Yeah, I don't know. What's up with that? That's all we played, right? We didn't play anything.
Unfortunately not.
Oh. What do you got against Tears of the Kingdom, Bob? You sound so upset that you played Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, that's it. Definitely no mighty things we played this week.
No, we played Gunvolt Burst. And so did Chris.
Yes, I did.
Chris, you can go ahead and lead the discussion because this was my second time playing it.
I think that game is pretty all right if you don't play as back. Because Gunvolt. First of all, it feels very nice to control. That might have been downplayed a little bit for Dan because he started playing it via the fucking streaming version.
Right. We did switch eventually.
It's true.
And made note of how much better it felt.
But it does feel pretty all right. I think the things you can do with the shot is funny. I think a lot of the levels have better gimmicks than gimmicks in any other Inti Creates game I've played, where it's like, oh, it's like the game where the thing crosses which line it's going down at each bridge, and you have to have foresight, but it drops electrical balls down them. That's neat.
Like the spider in Mega Man X1 at the beginning of the Sigma.
Yep.
Yeah.
Inti Creates sure likes doing things exactly from other Mega Man games, like 1-to-1. I sure wish they didn't make you pay for auto fire, considering bosses have like 150 health pips.
Yeah, that
Bob
was some
didn't
serious...
have a problem with it.
By the end of me streaming that, I was like, my fucking wrist hurts because I have to mash this fucking fire button. Because I guess playing as Gunvolt, I missed the damage modifier entirely during my stream. I didn't find it again until I went back because I played through it also as Ikoro, the Gal Gun protagonist. She just gets to fly. She just gets you hover forever.
Mm-hmm.
She also has a thing where she has a heart-shaped meter, and if it's over 50%, you can pop it, and she grows. She uses Hitsugai as Bankai. She spawns these wings, and they slowly fall off, and once they all fall off, it turns off. But it makes you invincible and makes your shots do more damage.
That's crazy. Do you think Inti Creates has watched Bleach?
I'm like we mentioned before. I'm afraid that it actually fed backwards.
Yeah, it's a self-feeding system, really. They trade it back and forth.
But it is funny to get to the story parts as Ikora, and I'm like, she doesn't get a story. Nobody likes her. Fuck her.
Worth noting, she was originally DLC. Originally, this game was called Mighty Gunvolt Burst, and it was just a crossover between Mighty Number 9 and Azure Striker Gunvolt with some DLC for other characters and the Galgun chick.
That made me suspect that none of the DLC characters have story, which is sad.
Probably not. No,
but that's not
just a different moveset.
That's not true, because that one guy, chat was telling us about how pissed he was that his sister was playing the game and it didn't feature him. It was Copen.
Yeah, because he was Copen.
Yeah, that's his thing. Yeah, that game's great because the main thing that distinguishes this from any other Mega Man game and Mega Man knockoff sort of game is that there's a shot customizer. And the menu's a fucking nightmare, but what it enables you to do is add various levels of allow me to angle the shot like I'm base, allow the shot to bounce off of walls like it's Gemini Man's laser, allow me to shoot 5 bullets in a spread at a time or 3. And you just keep unlocking more and more things to adjust on it, and it will tell you at the beginning at the stage select what level will contain what you need to go for, and if you get it from beating it or if you just find it in a level. So what you're supposed to do is just double your damage and shoot 5 bullets at a time, and then just delete every enemy in the game. And then when you reach the final boss, you just have a single shot that you can angle at 45 degrees, and you hand the controller to Bob and go, delete him. And then he does in less than 30 seconds. All forms. Bob's just really and the health bar just deleted. It was a screen wipe almost. I was like, this is great.
It's really sad how I feel like every single one of the Mighty Numbers has a better boss pattern in this than an actual Mighty Number 9.
They sure do, and their levels are way better. They have proper mechanics for darkness.
Yeah, I think that the only one I don't think is better is the guy who's a gun, a revolver, the
Battalion.
I think his moveset is just weird in this. It's he summons ads and then he splits into 5 pieces and shoots at you.
Yeah,
it's very
weird.
It is weird, but it's a better, more salient idea for a boss pattern than guy who jumps and shoots a bullet occasionally.
Yeah.
Inti also likes guys splitting apart, because a couple guys in Mega Man 0 do that.
Huh.
There's a guy in 4 that does that as his desperation. They also really like enemies having desperation, bosses having desperation moves, which I think is a fine idea. But it is funny. It's like they like hanging from wires,
Ropes, yeah.
and they like a guy splitting up, and they like when bosses shoot a big beam and then slowly rotate 360 degrees, so you have to go around them to avoid getting hit. They also like that.
Morph Moth is very cool. Yeah. In conclusion, I played Mighty Number 9 twice on my birthday stream, and then I played Mighty Gunvolt Burst, which was renamed to Gal Gunvolt Burst when it came to platforms other than the Switch and PC, namely PS4, and I think it got rebranded on Steam, but I'm not sure. We were talking about it during Chris's stream. Apparently, Level 5 bought Concept 2 days after the original game came out. So part of me's like, maybe for searchability reasons, they were like, get Mighty out of your fucking title. We're tired of things making our bad IP even worse. Look, we didn't get a whole lot when we bought this company. We would like you to stop lessening it further. So 9 months later, it gets the rebrand to Gal Gunvolt Burst, and you get the free DLC character, Ekoro. And then they still want to sell you a bunch of DLC. If you have PlayStation Plus, you can play this game for free.
Yes. Do you think at some point this was supposed to be the 3DS version of Mighty Number 9? At some
It feels like
point,
it could be, because there's no, like, every boss is from Mighty. Like, there's no boss from Gunvolt.
And Trinity, and the final boss is in one of those boss, like, the Wily Castle equivalent. Like, maybe it didn't even last very long, but at some point it was like, okay, we make these sprite assets because this is the only fucking way it's ever getting on the 3DS.
Yeah, I thought about that before, and maybe that is what they thought, but that never would have gone well. Because what they promised was a 3DS version of that other game. Not a, parallel game. They promised a 3DS version of Mighty Number 9.
Right.
A Vita version of Mighty Number 9. If they turned out this 2D game on the Vita, that would not have worked. People would not have been happy. It would be the equivalent of being like, we promised a Switch version of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, and then it's Curse of the Moon, and they're like, there you go. This is for you.
Right. No, it wouldn't. It would have been a really hard sell.
It may be illegal.
Maybe illegal.
Maybe. Kickstarter's always weird in that regard.
I mean, not shipping anything is also allegedly illegal, but I don't think anything's going to happen with that.
Right.
Right. So I feel like they could have spun this and made it work out for them and made it like that, but they probably wanted the sales, which they would not get.
Right.
If they gave it for free for everyone for free for people who paid for that version.
Just like it's for free for people who have PlayStation Plus.
Right.
Yeah. People can watch those playthroughs of Mighty Number 9 and easily see that I'm not playing it nearly as much as you guys think I am, because those were not even lean runs. Those were not good runs of those games.
They did have some.
I basically forgot all the speedrun tech. And that's good. And you must believe in that playthrough and look at that and be like, he's fine.
He definitely didn't go look up a speed run of the game later that same night.
No.
That'd be crazy.
Now I'm living my best life. So mighty and so true. Just living my best life. That didn't happen at all.
No.
Aside from that, I may have gone to a theater to watch something, but none of you can prove it. Aside from that, I didn't play anything.
Other than Tears of the Kingdom?
Well, yeah, but I don't know if I want to spend a third fucking week.
Yeah, we don't need to.
Yeah, I'm good. I will save it for the final.
Yeah, I really did not like Mighty or Gal Gunvolt Burst.
But did you like Mighty Gunvolt Burst?
They're the same game. But yeah, I think that game would be really neat if the menus weren't the worst thing ever made. Like the whole thing's about using a complicated menu structure to set up your shot, and they made that menu terribly.
Complicated actually undersells it in a way.
Yeah,
because it's
it's
not
just made wrong in a
that
lot
it's
of ways.
complicated. It's that it's a fucking nightmare. The nested menus, some of which just cancel all the other decisions you made for no reason.
The cosmetic alteration for it will be like, I deleted the entire moveset. It's like,
Why did you do that? I wanted it to look different so I know which shot I was shooting.
Right?
They also force you to have a little baby buster. Period. You cannot change that. As Beck, you have to have the pellet gun at all times, even though the whole game's about, we gave you literally, I'm not exaggerating, 42 slots to customize your loadout because you want to hit R1 41 times to change what's equipped.
Right.
Oof, that's a rough button to hit a lot. I mean, unless you have fully developed into the armored core grip, which might improve that a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. If you do the armored core with the thumbs up there, it might be fine. Admittedly, you're pretty worked out on the R1 button from playing Mighty Number 9, where you dash 700 times per playthrough, and that's R1. But they give you that many equipment slots, and then they go, the first one will always be useless.
And then the way the bosses are set up, it's like, yeah, the first two or so are always going to be 125 hit Shade Man.
Yes.
It's like you have to hit them like insane amounts of times because you don't have power-ups yet.
But they have it so that way, how do I phrase this? They don't have lives in this game, and it just counts how many times you die in a level.
Right.
And it just goes, you retried 12 times. And I'm like, yeah, have you seen this, boss? I have to hit it 120 times. This is like a Mega Man maker's wet dream. They wish Shade Man could take 120 hits.
Yeah, like as we played that, I was like, wow, I wonder why I just turned this game off and never went back. It's such a mystery.
Because you were still every Friday having to fight 28 hit Shade Man.
Right.
But now you have time. Now you have the capacity to love Gal Gunvolt Burst.
No. I'm scarred for life.
Gal Gunvolt Burst is probably one of my favorite NT Creates games. My favorite is definitely Curse of the Moon 1. But I think Gal Gunvolt Burst might place. Because God knows that X5 and X6, which are totally fucking made by them, do not place as well as Mighty Gunvolt Burst because they don't have an interesting idea. Making a worse version of X4 is not an interesting idea to me. Chris, did you have anything else you want to say before we move on?
No, not really.
Okay. Hey, Aggro.
Yes, sir.
Did you play anything other than Tears of the King?
No, but I know we're not going to talk about Tears of the Kingdom, but I did want to say one thing for my own self-aggrandizement. I finally actually straight up killed a Lynel the right way for the first time today. It took all of my arrows and most of my food and a gloom sword I fused to the end of a spear. But I fucking did it.
If you use a gloom sword to the end of a spear, do you still get gloom told?
No, you get all the damage and none of the pain.
Oh, that's so fucking smart. God damn it, I should have done that.
Yeah, that's why they do that. Jesus.
Yeah, I felt real fucking big brained when I did that.
Well then. Should I
just one thing?
God, you guys are incorrigible.
Did anyone else get the dive suit, like the free fall, like air suit?
I have the pants that let me have more midair mobility.
I have the torso one, I think.
I've got the torso and the mask.
What is the set bonus, Bob? Because I think that's what you want to tell us.
Yeah, the set bonus is incredible.
What?
You are invincible to fall damage.
Oh, that's so good. I need to get that.
I'm just gonna Black Adam everything.
Yeah,
Dan, you
Black
tell me
Adam.
where those pants are.
Holy shit. I did 33 of the underground light routes at a single play session.
God, I'm going to have to go back down there soon.
They're pretty easy to bang out if you build an air bike.
Yeah, that would have been smart. That is not what I did. I watched Retro Island Gaming and just wandered around in the darkness, just going, where the fuck is everything? It was a time. That game's really great. Did you guys know Tears of the Kingdom is a good video game?
I hadn't noticed.
It just, you know, has been the background radiation a big thing for 3 weeks in a row.
Hang on, let me look at my left monitor where it currently is playing and double check.
Who is doing this to me? Yeah, that game's really great. I actually do have... Am I safe to take us out of the...
I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take us out then. I actually did have one game I wanted to talk about. Very simple game. Very, very important to talk about. I may upset some people with this segment. This might be the most upsetting segment of Big Think until Bobby Kotick is quoted. I played Beat Saber. Hey, guess what? Everybody told me, Dan, Beat Saber's way better when you can mod your songs. And I'm like, I bet. No one told me Beat Saber's practically worthless if you can't. No one told me Beat Saber is a bad video game. No one warned me.
Oh my.
When you play a rock band song, you start the song, the difficulty's here. There's a hump and there's a thing. How many times can you say, I played this rhythm game and I did great until the badass part, until it kicked my ass? That doesn't happen in Beat Saber. It just is flat. You can either survive the first 15 seconds or you can't. If you get past that, enjoy the next 2.5 minutes of the same thing. Ooh. There's no difficulty arc. I'm of the opinion that the signage for the arrows is just bad UI design. And we can talk about the things that are objectively true, and I don't think any human on Earth is gonna fucking defend it. The campaign for Beat Saber is fucking dog water. This fucking campaign is disgusting. Let me explain. You remember the Rock Band 1 problem? Where it's like, hey, play these 5 songs forever.
I love Creep.
Me and Bob in that room for hours.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's called flooding back. I didn't think I remembered, but I did.
Now imagine it wasn't Creep, it was a song no one knew because it's a seemingly original song for Beat Saber made by the composer of Beat Saber, and it's a techno song, and it is not a bad song, but it ain't no banger. It ain't no classic of rock that anyone would know for any... Yeah, it's no Weezer. It's nothing. So I'm just playing this song 5 times in a row, and this already sounds kind of rough, right? If this was the only problem, I wouldn't be this critical. They run out of how to make it harder because their difficulty curve on difficulty selection is fucking insane. So what they start doing is, oh, we have all these kooky mechanics for modifiers and we're just going to build them into the game. You know how like DDR has that thing where the arrows, you can turn on a mode where the arrows would disappear within a few rows of pixels from the top of the screen? Now imagine that was the cube's arrows, because in Beat Saber, you have to know which direction to hit the cubes from. And you have to know which hand to use based on color. They disappear the fucking direction you have to hit it from several, like dozens of feet away from you. So you better have seen it because it's just gone almost instantly. So it's a billion mechanics like that. There was one level I failed. I got a really good score on it and I failed completely. I want everyone here, Bob, you're not allowed because you know the exact mechanic, but I want Chris and Aggro to workshop the dumbest fucking mechanic you can for a Beat Saber-like game as a modifier for the mode. Why did I fail this song while getting a high score? Dr. Aggro, shoot.
As a mode modifier?
Yeah, so like DDR has the weird notes or the weird modes, which cause you like, oh, we did this quirky thing. I'm not saying it's a thing that pre-exists in DDR. It's just Rock Band and a lot of other games don't do this shit. Hector's like, I'm dead in the water. I don't know.
I'm like, it's too expansive of a field when you put it in VR. Like, I don't know. Every 5 seconds, you have to turn 180 degrees for the next set of notes.
Congratulations, you're very close while not being close at all. Chris, would you like to take a shot?
No, I don't have a fucking clue. I have trouble even conceptualizing what it could be.
I only moved my hands 350 meters, and I needed to move them 650 to pass the song.
What?
I hit every fucking note practically, but I did not move my arms 300 more meters, nearly
Does
twice.
it just want you to fucking jazz hands the entire fucking song? Whenever there's not a note, you better be shaking.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I
Right?
had
Like,
to
that's-
try to do that to pass
like-
it and still didn't. I'm like, fuck this. This is terrible. I quit.
This isn't. You're not a sabreur, all right? Don't cut with the wrist. You got to cut with the whole arm, Talwar style.
Yeah, apparently, and I like this isn't like I'm doing this, right? You would assume me telling the story, I'm going to use these remotes to sort of give depth to what my hands are doing. You would assume based on the story, I'm like, I hit every note that should count, that I'm doing this, right? That I'm just not trying.
Right.
No, you can ask him. He's watching my dumbass flail. I'm doing this, and it's still like, no, dude, twice as much movement. And I'm like, how?
You got to hit that whammy bar more, my man.
So yeah, Beat Saber practically worthless without the ability to mod songs into it. Not only because the selection of music is terrible as a person who likes many different genres, but let me put it this way. If the totality of your offerings makes me go, I guess I will settle for party rock anthem and a Skrillex song, there is a little bit of a problem with your library.
It's over.
They have been doing nothing but DLC updates for this for 4 years now, and still the offerings are fucking terrible. Also, I showed Bob the UI for how you access the songs, and he can verify. Fucking Inti creates tier.
Yeah, that was rough.
No, here's the thing. I like some Skrillex songs, and even still, I was like, this is the closest to a Skrillex songs I actually enjoy I can get. I settled on Bangarang. I was like, sure. All right. We can do better, but no, we can't, evidently. No one warned me! There's a world of difference because DDR is fine on its own, except for that PS2 era where they're like, we need American songs in this.
Mm-hmm. God,
I'm
told
not
me
a fan
about
of the. I'm not a fan of the PS1 one where it's like, if you didn't get perfect, fuck you, you don't get an A. That was the one I had with my very first cheap ass dance pad, and I'm like, why would they do this?
Yeah,
Why
that's
would
fair.
they do
That's
this?
a fair
I think I
question.
got A's on like 3 songs, and I'm like, I fucking can't. This ain't happening.
I'm sorry, DDR. It's not happening on this. What is basically a Ziploc bag you have trapped sensors in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I also had a DDR pad that was cheap back in the day, and
I'm
yeah,
surprised
that's what
those
it
things
feels
weren't like a serious slipping hazard. Like,
oh, they were.
okay, I'm surprised they didn't get sued, rather.
Because the top layer would move and the bottom would stay there because they put a rubberized thing on it, and yeah, you would absolutely
Oh,
yeah.
mine was even cheaper. There was like there's the one with foam,
uh-huh.
and there's the one with no foam, and the one with no foam is the one I had.
Yeah, it didn't really have a foam to it. I don't think. It just, I don't know what was keeping the 2 layers of Ziploc plastic seal like separate, but it is just 2 distinct layers. So if you just step on it like that, it'll just, and then 1, tripping hazard, 2, doesn't register the button because the sensor has now been curled and lifted off of the bottom because it's on the top. Yeah, that thing was terrible. I played a lot of it though.
You're right.
Unlike Beat Saber, I've done with Beat Saber forever. That was a waste of $34. Beat Saber is genuinely just a bad game. They do not know how to design a song for difficulty at all. Like,
I'm curious to
Harmonic-
try this myself. Not
You
saying,
should.
Not saying that I don't trust you, because of
Right.
course
Yeah.
you're the rhythm gamer. I get it.
Right. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, even if it is you get it more, that doesn't change the fact that they didn't build a difficulty arc into the song like it's a level in a video game.
Right.
Something Harmonix has understood basically since Amplitude.
Yeah, that was a PS2 game.
Yeah, that was fucking 21 years ago or something. 19 years ago.
God,
So you-
eternity.
So yeah, it's fucking absurd to play a game that came out in 2019. And it's like, hey, yeah, this is the techno song. Do this thing. And like, when I was really out of shape, pre me having PSVR 2 years ago with PSVR 1, when our friend Brett was like, hey, me and my girlfriend, we'd like Beat Saber, try it out. And I played the Crab Rave song, which is a good song. It was like, do squats. And I'm like, oh no, squats. And that would whip the shit out of me. And that's like a difficulty built into the song, but it's more like a difficulty with doing squats. Yeah, it's terrible. I want you to try it.
All right.
Just like you need to fucking try Pistol Whip, which is a genuinely amazing video game.
Right.
And now we transition to, I played a lot of Pistol Whip. Pistol Whip fucking whips. It's really good. I played Pistol Whip yesterday, and today they announced, hey, we have a whole new campaign. It's in there now.
What?
Yeah. There is a story mode to Pistol Whip, which if you thought the Beat Saber thing was crazy, let me tell you, there's an actual story here. So in the first story mode, the first campaign in Pistol Whip, it's a wholly self-contained story that's going for like gritty comic book style as you're fighting a future war on an alien planet in 2089 as the robots kill you. They jump your ass at the end of the level, perform surgery on you, and make you a half robot, half machine kill machine. It's really fucking cool. There's whole like, okay, so level 1, you have your standard pistol because you're a part of the military and stuff, and you're going to do the normal fight. Second level, they took away your ammo and your other, it's just gone. So you have to punch your way out of the facility. You no longer have a gun and Pistol Whip. You're just beating the shit out of people to get out and dodging bullets nonstop as all these robots jump you. Third level, you have the mag sec from fucking Perfect Dark, and you're just doing 3-round bursts. It's fucking good. Oh, and then like he's just like, I don't know why the robots brought me back. I need to figure out why. As he has like the RoboCop leg. It's, by the way, that's where the fucking mag set comes from. The RoboCop leg. It's so good. Anyway,
I feel like the VACSEC was probably based on the RoboCop gun.
which
so
is
this
why
all
it's
checks
really,
out.
really fucking perfect in this regard. But as he says this, there's like a half-destroyed robot in the background who's like, you, what was it? You weren't saved. You were recycled. You have a purpose. And he's like, blow it out your ass. It blows him up. And now, because I've played that is the background image for Pistol Whip on my OS. Just that one shot of him blowing up the robot's head. And I'm like, that's fucking hilarious. Anyway, Pistol Whip's a really great game. I've never been more disappointed in a rhythm game than I think I am in Beat Saber. Because yeah, I'm sure it's fine when people who have any idea how to design the difficulty curve on a fucking song do it.
Right.
Because yeah, if I don't want to do the same thing for 15 seconds at the very beginning that I'm doing the entire fucking song.
Yeah, it seems crazy.
It's boring. That's not fun. It's like when you, even if you go all the way back to an amplitude or a frequency, you play multiple different instruments. So you're changing what you're doing constantly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're not just playing the drums to the song for 2.5 minutes. Meanwhile, a lot of what they do here, it's just that. Anyway, that's it. I'm done talking about fucking VR games.
Cool.
You're all free now. Hey, Chris.
On the Inti Creates front, I also played Mega Man 9 and Mega Man 10 because I've wanted to not have to fucking think about those anytime soon.
Fair.
It's so hard to put into words what is wrong with those games, but something is.
It's like, what's wrong with this? Malice.
I am loath to. I fucking despise food metaphors. I've made that clear before.
But if
But
it was
it really-
a cheeseburger.
It really is like, here's generic Coke.
Mm-hmm.
Can you describe exactly what is wrong with generic Coke versus real Coke? Probably not, but I can tell, and so can everyone.
But sometimes generic
Yeah.
Coke's really tasty. Sometimes.
Mega Man 9 was not painful this time. I learned the secret to that one fucking screen. You know the one. Climb up the fucking death lasers with the concrete shot. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm going to use Rush Jet and go all the way to the other side of the screen where I get on one of the cannons and then jump from that to the ladder. There, I'm done.
Yep.
Fuck you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember
will not
learning that
engage
when
with your
that game
dog
came
shit
out.
mechanic.
I was like, oh, I'm so upset.
I'm kind of starting to come around to 9 being better than 10.
Ooh.
10's weapons are dog shit.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are horrible. And with every one, they're like, here's a quirky way for it to work. And I'm like, that's fucking stupid. Like, it's neat. It's neat that Chill Man, the ice shot that makes ice spikes on the ground when it hits the ground. It's neat that is super effective against the dude that's a motorcycle and you make him run over the spike traps over and over and he blows up.
Mhm.
Okay, sure, whatever.
And you can freeze the buses.
The Thunderbolt's awful. The commando bomb that is only actually damaging if it's the shockwave from the explosion, not the bomb itself, is terrible. The fire thing that does nothing and then shoots out 2 waves to the side is awful. The worst shield in the series.
Pump Man's weapon's really great. Also, worst shield. Come on now. That's
Is there a worse one?
That flower one's fucking terrible from Mega Man 6. Plant barrier.
Oh yeah,
that thing's fucking dog shit.
Maybe that one is worse, but Pump really feels fucking terrible. Just also, I feel like the levels in 10 are maybe worse than 9. They're not harder, they're easier overall. But man, it feels like there's even less in the soup than 9.
I actually like a lot of the levels in 10 and the mini bosses in 10. There's a lot of 9 I don't love nearly as much.
But yeah, I don't know if I kind of don't want to ever play either of them ever again. I will settle the debate we've had about Robo Inza. The debate being, are they trying to connect it to X with Wily getting at the end? And I noticed for the first time that no, it's a joke. Wily sneezes in that final boss to let you know which one is the real one.
Yeah,
because he has the flu, and that's also why his weakness is the chill shot, because he has the flu.
Because he got Robo Enza. He's sick.
It is really funny to play his bass, and at the end he's just like, "Huh, you got a fever, die," and then he leaves.
Yeah, that's fitting. That's really fitting.
The whole plot is seems to be based being like, he didn't get me involved in this plan. Fuck him. I'm gonna ruin it.
So it's Vile mode.
I mean, doesn't Vile dash exactly like bass in that Vile mode?
I've only played that Vile mode once ever because it's so bad.
I think he his hand pose is even the same.
Probably.
Being able to shoot diagonally sure makes that fucking light bulb mini boss easy.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I was gonna say he can't double jump in that, right?
No, he cannot. He can dash.
That's gonna annoy me forever.
He can dash, jump, and you get treble boost from the start, and treble boost gives you 8-way flight.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So you have that from frame 1, which makes a lot of parts I'm like, I'm not gonna engage with your level, and it becomes that part of the Mega Man comic of them being a crying Wojak going, no, you can't fly over everything. It was designed.
Yeah, like, man, this game's great actually.
I played a couple other things. I got the PS1 core working on the Mister. I tried Croc. Croc's fucking terrible. It's horrible. I only played 30 minutes. Boy, it's fucked up that Nintendo said, no, that game looks bad. You can't make it a Yoshi game. And then made Mario 64 into crock with the DS version.
Yeah, it is. How the fuck did they do that? What is wrong with them? People who are not familiar with these games, the movement in Mario 64 DS has a lot of similarities to fucking Croc, and it is insane.
Croc is a platformer with tank controls. I just popped it. I popped in a bunch of games just to test them real quick. Like I popped in fucking Jersey Devil, and I'm like, I remember this from PS1 demo disc. What's it actually like? Oh, it's bad.
I keep thinking Jersey Devil's a Super Nintendo game, and I remember what it actually is.
It does have a lot of Zero the Kamikaze Squirrel, Arrow the Acrobat, Rocky Rodent, Radical Rex, that kind of energy to it.
Yeah.
It has some real Amiga energy.
Yeah.
The very scrunt core.
Yes, very scrunt core.
Then I booted up Ergies. I'm like maybe this will be the time I actually beat that RPG mode. And I'm like, wow, this is not good. I could probably beat it, but it would sure require a lot of me staying on one floor and killing guys to beat the leveling curve.
I know someone who's still waiting for us to do the full stream playthrough. And it's not just me.
Okay.
Oh God, it's not me, is it?
Might be you.
But I played a bunch of games and I'm like, man, 3D people, we really didn't know how to make 3D movement in games. All this feels terrible. Then I booted one Japanese game with 3D movement. I'm like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah, no, they figured it out a lot faster than a lot of the industry. I mean, game feel by and large wasn't a priority in the West ever.
Yeah, here. You know, on that front, I was thinking the other day, I'm like, I know I've played Western games with really good game feel. They're all retro shooters.
Yeah, there are very few games where it feels like they understood the core of engaging with it should feel good. You know, it kind of feels like the divide between, you know, when you use a Japanese engineered product, not just from like a hardware angle, but a software angle, and you can see a sort of elegance to it. And then you use a Western competitor, and it's just like, I have more features. I suck shit, though. And it's like, yeah, great. Kind of feels like that.
That reminds me, I played the first episode of Hrot.
I'll put it up there.
Hrot is really good. It's a retro shooter. You have Quake movement. You're in Prague in like alternate 1986.
Hrot for anyone who's trying to keep up.
Yeah, Hrot.
Okay.
It's sure like Quake, but you're in Prague.
God damn, put that shit on the
box.
Like, it has very similar enemies to Quake. It has better weapons than Quake. I kind of am not a big fan of Quake's arsenal because it's like shotgun, super shotgun. Your shotgun's the default weapon, so it's a bad shotgun. Rocket launcher, grenade launcher, nail gun, super nail gun.
Ooh.
And it's like, okay, these are very similar, but this can have more enemies. You have more weapons. It's much more interesting because it isn't just brown demonic castles like Quake. At one point, I got a little bit too close to a bulldozer and it came to life and attacked me.
I'm just sitting there thinking about, man, what if it got to do a game with good art design with the Quake engine?
Well, they did Quake. They did Quake 2. They did.
Quake 3 Arena kind of has good art design. Like some of the levels look really
Quake 3
sick.
Arena?
I'm pretty sure. Oh God, please don't take that from me.
Yeah, I was like, don't all the other Quakes start being made by other people? Like enemy territories, I know is splash damage.
That's way later.
That's true. That's
I'm
way
pretty
later.
sure Quake 3 Arena is them. Come on now.
And Quake 4 is Raven.
Yeah, Quake 4 is Raven. Someday I'm gonna have to play that game.
Yeah.
I just did it on the 360 because it ran like shit.
When we get to Raven Week.
Isn't that just when Armored Core 6 comes out?
Yeah, Raven Week would be like a bunch of Call of Duties because they got put in those mines.
Right, we would not do any of those.
That's depressing. People are saying they made Quake 3 Arena. I'm pretty sure they made Quake 3 Arena.
Okay, good. So at least there's one. Hrot's really good. I recommend you play it. I have not gotten a chance to play Bolt Gun yet because I'm like I can only have one retro FPS in the queue at a time.
Fair.
Right. Understandable.
It's goofy to buy multiple games of the same genre and be like, "I'll wait." I'm like, "No, I'll buy it when I'm ready to play it."
So is the visual design like Quake era? Like, is it that fidelity or is that something
They wrote their own fucking engine to emulate software rendering of 90s PC games.
Okay.
Good.
Cool.
Nice.
It looks like a game that it looks like that it would have come out a year after Quake on the Quake engine. And I played one other thing. You know who we can trust in?
Who?
Tantas.
No. God damn it.
Oh,
I doubt
God,
it.
I forgot that was this week.
Yeah, I
Right?
forgot that was this week too.
I played the Forspoken DLC in Tantas We Trust. I'm going to spoil this entire fucking thing. So,
Cool.
if you somehow care about the plot of the last thing Luminous Productions will ever create, dip out now. So, you boot this from the title screen.
We are talking about In Tanta We Trust, the DLC expansion for Spoken. Ignore the text on screen. I am trying to change that right now.
You boot this from the title screen because they didn't want to have to think about how it would integrate into the main game at all.
Smart.
This opens with Frey and Cuff, who is now a tattoo. It is explicitly post-game.
Okay.
Just being in a field, and he's like, "Why are we fucking here, woman?" And he's like, "I heard a voice that told me to come here." And then you hear the voice again. And they're like, "Frey, you're going to go to the past and see what happened, and perhaps alter what happened." Except spoilers, you don't actually do that. You only see what happened. And then and then Frey quantum leaps back in time into another person's body.
Oh my god. I didn't think that was the bit we were gonna do.
And this person is a rando soldier. And it is during the invasion of Redig, the people who made Cuff, who made Susurrus, the antagonist of Forspoken. And it's actually, first of all, we all thought they were from another fucking dimension. They're not.
What?
They're just from across the ocean.
Oh my fucking god. What the fuck?
They're really into birds. That's why Susurrus turns into birds, because they're really into birds. They're all wearing like owl masks and like feathered like cowls. There's a really good part how you'll just see like you'll Dan's gone.
Dan can't take it.
I'm so upset.
Don't worry, just fucking wait. It's gonna get worse. So you see like Redig soldiers. It's the invasion. They're fucking capturing people and killing people, and it's really funny because Cuff's like, "All I see are noble Redig soldiers doing their civic duty against these savages."
Based.
And I thought that part was pretty amusing. So you're this random soldier. You get kidnapped by the evil general of the Redig, who I didn't commit his name to memory because he doesn't fucking matter at all. He's gonna be dead in less than 2 hours anyway. And they do a ceremony to this soldier because we have to break out the proper nouns that are just other words. So he's like, "No, this time we'll succeed in the gloaming."
Please, Terrapunk sound.
Isn't that what Reddit's calling jacking off today?
The last time the Tantas stopped us from successfully completing the gloaming, but this time we'll successfully complete the gloaming. So they do this fucking thing to the person you're possessing, and it burns like a weird tattoo up Frey's arm, and then they throw her in jail, and you break out. And this is how you have your new magic thing that they advertise, the new magic school. That's all just shit from all the other schools mashed together.
Oh, what?
Like you have the bad feeling sword, and you have the rock shot, and those are your two basic things, and they give you a bunch of the bigger spells that are all shit you already have. Like you get the fire dash, but it's like rock themed now.
I mean, some of those could have done with being condensed. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, that should have been maybe how it was before.
They
You
give
can't
the one
advertise
new,
it as new if it's old stuff, though.
the one new mechanic is that you're teamed up with your mom the whole playtime. And
Dad's making a new dish for dinner. He put the peas on the pizza.
but you do the fucking, you team up with your mom, and she doesn't have the spells Frey has in the start of the game for reasons I don't know. I thought the whole thing was supposed to be her fucking magic, but whatever. Her magic is being Virgil. Like she makes energy swords and does judgment cut.
Oh, well,
That's
hey.
her magic.
Okay.
So the new
Alright.
mechanic is that sometimes your spells will petrify enemies, and when they petrify enemies, you hit, I think it's triangle, and then your mom does a judgment cut, and the more times she does judgment cut in a fight, the bigger it gets. That's new combat mechanic this time.
Okay.
So you go through the story, you learn a lot of shit that doesn't fucking matter at all. You don't actually learn very much that doesn't matter, by which I mean they just don't tell you anything that matters. It's all fucking bullshit.
No, you have already told me something that matters immensely. They have taken the coolest part of Forspoken and shattered it for no reason other than, well, they're not from another dimension. They're from over the water. I cannot express how upset that makes me. There is no potential left in that entire universe to me now.
So you go through. They grew the tree from Devil May Cry 5, and you have to destroy the roots at the bottom. And each time you destroy one, Frey gets a little bit more powerful. In one cutscene, her mom's model did not load, so Frey was walking in a circle around nobody talking.
The most 7th gen video game of the year.
They made a tiny little open world section for this DLC. It literally has 5 things in it, 3 of which you have to do to advance.
What is this, Gears of War 5?
I'm so tired. I want out of this segment.
So you do those. The behemoth from Final Fantasy 15 with a slightly different skin shows up, and you do a boss fight against it.
I'm gonna drive over myself.
You climb the evil tree with in it that's made of assets from the Final Fantasy 15 Titan boss fight. You fight the behemoth again.
Come on.
And then you find out the actual plan. The actual plan is those tattoos that Frey had gotten and got more of every time she absorbed power. Those are the Jokai crest. And they're gonna make Frey explode and destroy all of Athia. This I believe is an entirely different plan on top of the gloaming that is also a different plan from Susurrus.
Okay.
But it's really fucking poorly conveyed, so I don't actually know for sure. So your mom's like, and she doesn't know that you're her daughter. You're quantum leaped into the body of this nobody soldier.
Right.
So she's like, yeah, my plan. What after we stop the tree, I'm here literally to teleport you to a faraway place so you can detonate where nobody's around. That's the tiny little fucking emotional conflict in this DLC. So you climb the tree, you fight the behemoth again, you get to their fucking evil general at the top of this tree. He turns into a big shitty looking monster. It's actually almost impossible to die in this DLC because every time you hit 0 health, your mom teleports to you and throws up an impenetrable barrier enemies can't get through and regens your health for you.
What is this Final Fantasy 15? Jesus.
You can still die because there's not like a really noticeable queue when this happens. So more than once I walked out of the barrier as it was forming. And I did that once into an enemy attack and died, but I only died that one time. So you fight the big shitty looking thing that he turns into. And then you start to detonate. And instead of killing you, she like puts up a barrier to try and contain it. But it turns out you weren't exploding. this was a weird ritual to make Susurrus. And then Susurrus flies off. And then you wake up back in the fucking present, and Frey out of nowhere is like, man, Susurrus is so big and evil and powerful. Surely the Reddig couldn't have created him. And then the voice is like, correct. A darker, more evil force created Susurrus.
Boo.
Wait, it gets better. It gets fucking better. It's fucking better. And then Frey's like, who and where are they? And she's like, they're across the sea, Frey, in Reddig. And then Frey's like, who are you, mysterious voice? And she goes, I am one of the Tantas of Reddig. And then the voice fades, and Frey's like, I guess we gotta go to Reddig, Cuff. And Cuff's like, I guess there won't be too many things there trying to kill us. And so they set up the sequel hook, and then of course the franchise is dead forever.
It baffled me that they were like, yeah, there's more Tantas over there. It's like, you made it sound like they were Tantas of this whole universe. And that was all of them. What do you mean they're just Tantas of another country?
I like how
They
that's the problem, and not the Reddig used to sound like extra dimensional beings that invaded this realm.
I mean, yes.
That sucks so much that it's just like, what we meant to say is they were next to Niceville.
Right?
I'm so fucking upset.
So yeah, that was the DLC. It was better than the main game because they truncated all the spells into one usable skill set.
Mm-hmm.
And added anything at all with the team attack mechanic.
You know, it's a weird emotional reaction I had hearing all this terrible shit about this DLC.
What's that?
Part of me wished this was a numbered Final Fantasy, so we would just have a terrible Final Fantasy to point at. Be like, well, everything's better than this one.
15 is still right there.
Some sort of pyre. No, because this is way worse than 15.
It is true. It is
Yes.
significantly worse than 15 in every conceivable way.
And that's, 15 fans really need Forspoken to be a numbered entry for them. What a fucking terrible game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that's the last gigantic cosmic size L that Sony has funded.
Right? Hopefully.
Hopefully. Well, that's all I played.
Ba-da-da-ba-da-bum. Oh, I've never had to transition from spoilers to Podlords. What if you saw this again, but it was blue and there was different music? Oh, fuck the Podlords!
Oh, fuck.
Fuck.
Dick. I still didn't set this up right, did I? Oh, fuck, it's the Podlords! Yes, that's right, the Podlords. Podlords such as Ely Broyles, BN12. Oh, by the way, Markiplier's did a gotcha as a reskin of the mascot girl.
Noted.
Oh, I lost that.
Weird.
Oh, you unplugged me over there.
Red Blaze 27, Suzushiro, Shiba Yagato, Rado, One Shade of, man, that sure was a Kickstarter stretch goal DLC.
Yeah, sorry, chat. I didn't have time to play the Wonderful 101 DLC second part. Next week.
I think they want to forget it by next week.
I'm sorry, you won't.
WTF, Spider-Man. Mr. I like spam. By the way, there's this is the bird picture to go with that One Shade of Man. That should... Don't be so sad, Yuji Naka. When you get out, there will be 30 new episodes of Chugging Bleach to watch.
Oh, God.
DFW 3K, Muckbun, Shiny Mew, Kristen, Kyle Bjork, Me, going into Street Fighter 6 knowing I am exceedingly mediocre at fight game. Yes!
Fuck yeah. Go get it, Gun Tank.
Yeah, good day! You're the best, emotionally. Basically in no other way.
Yeah, we all support you though, okay?
In a
you're
world
so
of
cool.
mobile balls, be a Gun Tank.
Monster Hunter Ryzen and Raiden. A second Street Fighter 6 Cammy has hit the Twitter. Cooper Tank. You know, I always wondered what was under Kakashi Sensei's mask.
You should have put the lips from that episode too. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let me be frank. I hate that you all come up with new ways to stab me every week with this man. This one got me because I was just expecting the lips because I'm like, yeah, they announced APL8. Now's a good time to no. Moon Muse Entertainment Studio. Indigo Sykes. Drive Typecast would like to recommend Girl Genius for adventure, romance, and mad science. Happy sizzle season to all who celebrate. Studio Magic exists. It's called Just Pay and Treat Your Employees Well.
Nah, that can't be it. We got something else, some other spice.
No, I think we have this. Put another cake in the break room. A raccoon that can smell you.
Oof.
That took a moment to parse.
Yeah, I thought it was an eyeball at first.
Right?
I wish all SCOTUS a very pleasant go play in traffic. The Superman. It starts with one plan.
Okay, I'm getting on board with this. Some of them must be stopped.
I don't know. I think they're on to something here.
What it meant to be will eventually, hopefully, be a plan. Sarlene. Timothy Pfister found what may be the funniest back-to-back credits of all time from Japanese voice actress Mari Mashiba, Ralph Wiggum, and
Is that the Gundam like antagonist lady?
yes,
Oh my god.
from 0083.
All right.
Holy shit.
They're in danger. Bearded Joe, Pleochrome, Krunglesbum. Gonna give best dress to Cayenne Sheba for wearing this winning smile. That is my joke! This bottle is stealing my joke!
Actually, I think they paid for it.
God damn
Yeah,
it! This is something. I'm not okay with this. Yo, this edible ain't sure. Oh my god.
Oof.
Yeah, when his eyes popped out like that, that was not okay.
No.
That was horrifying. Melancholic Cloud. I have no aversion to a menu or to a union. What I do have is an aversion to a union that doesn't play by the rules.
Oh, what a shitbag.
And slightly above average. Thank you very much to our Pod Lords. Thank you, Pod Lords!
Thank you, Pod Lords.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Pod
Pod
Lords.
Lords.
Pod
And if you'd like to become a Pod Lord, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/GB Podcast. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to many benefits, such as early access to Pokemon Go to the Movies and Chugging Bleach, our 2 monthly anime review podcasts. You also get extended content from other shows we do when indeed such extended content exists. And you get a patron exclusive show one a month where you get to vote on what good or bad thing we have to watch and then talk about. And if it's a bad thing, you also get a commentary track for that bad thing. And you also get a bunch of other commentary tracks, like a bunch, over 50. I don't have an exact count. No one does. Not even us, the people who made them. That we just release them into the void. You also get an entire movie. You get Isolation 119. This is not a joke or a bit. You get access to an actual movie. Isolation 119, a stunning movie about a man drinking beers in a chair. That is patreon.com/GB podcast. And if you don't have any money, it always helps immensely to tell your friends, rate us on Thursdays, rate us on your podcast app of choice, or like this video on YouTube if that's how you're listening right now. Patreon.com/GB podcast. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We got news. Well, let's see. Where should we start this? You know what? I'm not going to start with me. We're going to start with anyone but me. Let's start with Chris. Fuck it. Let's go.
Okay. So a while back, Ryutaro Ichimura, longtime producer of the Dragon Quest franchise, left Square Enix. He got poached by NetEase.
What? No way.
NetEase has established Pin Cool, a Tokyo-based studio headed by him to make games. That's that story.
I hope all the NetEase stuff goes well.
Right? Hopefully they get plenty of time and everything.
By the end of this gen, the NetEase is either going to appear the biggest clowns in the world, or they're going to beat the shit out of every other publisher in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be like, we took all your people and gave them unlimited time and money. So Duke Nukem 1 and 2 remastered for the Evercade, a thing that I don't respect and consider some form of scam, was announced.
Yeah, I don't even know what it is, really.
An Evercade. Okay, so you know what it is, but you've forgotten.
Probably.
It is that thing GameSack reviewed that is a weird portable that has a certain set of games for it. It's like the modern era Tiger Electronics portable, in a sense.
Okay, yeah. I vaguely remember this.
Yeah.
But they announced remasters of Duke Nukem 1 and 2. Those are the platformers. And they did so with AI-generated art. Then they got lit the fuck up on Twitter, and they're like, no, guys, we did hire an artist. Here they are. And here's their like their work in progress, as they said. Then somebody said, that dude's a con artist who purports to be an actual artist and sells people AI art. Here's every single thing in his portfolio that's obviously AI generated. Here's the stuff you got fed through an AI art detector, which they spit out with 99.6% chance of it being made by AI.
God, is he the reason I saw a thing going around of like, oh yeah, when these guys fake being artists, their work in progress, they're just grayscale versions of the final piece.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's how art works.
Yeah, that's how it works, guys.
Yeah, it's like a component signal. You send the black and white first, and then eventually you send the prominence information, right?
How
so they
stupid.
they had UK cyber safety violations done on them in the quote tweets. They completely deleted both tweets. They deleted the initial announcements and they're defending it, and then they put up a we did a fucky wucky statement on their website being like, we understand that we did wrong. We're going to try and fix it. And I'm like, okay, can you hire somebody with fucking eyes to look at the shit you're given back from freelancers?
No.
No, we found it on Fiverr. We thought it was fine.
That would be funny if this dude was on Fiverr, but I'm sure they're charging way more than $5.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah. And the last thing, which I am delighted by, I am so fucking happy this happened.
This is the Chris Wolfhart smugness hour.
It's true. So Dylan Snyder, a developer for Blizzard, a senior designer on Overwatch 2, worked on a bunch of other big games, basically tweeted confirmation that shit that we've been saying on Big Think Dimension for 4 years. Of Activision times bad things to releasing new content is true. Because of fucking course it is.
Yeah, there's no way it would time up like this always, unless... I know Activision's always on fire, but come on. It's not like there was any sort of big press release this week about Pride Month, and maybe something came out about Activision 2 days later, right?
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, and they literally say, yeah, no shit, guys. It's literally every single time they exploit our work to try and do damage control for their bad fucking news.
I love the dull thought of the confirmation of basic pattern recognition.
But the funny thing is, there have been people in like comment sections and on Twitter and stuff being like, Chris is making it up. That's not true. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
People always need confirmation of basic pattern recognition. And
For example, that Inti creates with Mega Man X 5 and 6.
There is a lot of people who act like having basic pattern recognition is like cheating. Like you're not allowed to base your decision making on that.
That's shit
somehow
I was
evil
saying,
and wrong.
Yeah, that shit I was saying earlier. There are people out there among us who just deal with every fucking point in interaction individually with no collective understanding of what the world is.
I mean, that may be true, but you said among us while saying it, so now
It's true.
I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm leaving big things. I can't do this anymore.
And I might as well bring it up. The fucking Variety put up an absolutely hideous fucking puff piece about Bobby Kotick, wherein he literally said some shit like, the evil unions are the ones who pushed all this sexual harassment nonsense. It was a very small problem we quickly took care of. Like, this motherfucker said this to another human being.
Didn't more accusations come out today?
Yeah, like yesterday, it was like 29 more.
Oh my God.
And it's like, yeah, it keeps being more because now people are confident they can say it and not get pushed out of the industry entirely.
God. All right. We'll transition to my nightmare news, which isn't that bad in the grand scheme of things, but is bad on a small scale, I suppose. So, the developer of a few different games you may or may not know, this is a Korean studio behind Demo, Citus, and Voez, had a technical lead come out from the studio and is like, yeah, we're going to use AI art going forward. It's the future. Eventually, someday, it's going to be like, you know how we used to not know how to type? Well, it's going to be that natural. It's going to be part of our lives, obviously. So it's going to be that natural. We're going to use it going forward. Rumors started immediately that they fired the entire art team. To date, that has not been substantiated. They still seem to have an art team. But they did do a press release where they're like, you can feel however you want about this AR thing. We didn't fire our entire art team. So there. Like, that's basically how the PR reads. This sucks.
Yeah.
Because I feel like from what I've understood, people really like the art of those games. So the thought that they're just going to start AI generating it is real rough. A former art lead from the studio is like, haha, this is the exact culture problem that's a part of why I left. Fuck that studio. Like, basically is what they tweeted. I'm like, oh, that's great. Awesome. Great. Man. Moving on. The producer of Mega Man 11 and Street Fighter 6 has left Capcom. Hey, Chris, any theories on where
that part yet? We don't. That part's absolutely true. We just don't know it yet.
He could end up anywhere. Maybe he's gonna go work at a convenience store.
He's just gonna retire. I'm sure he's just done.
This sounds like that pattern witchcraft I've heard about.
To me, I feel like there are three pillars of my faith in new Capcom.
Mm-hmm.
It's him. It's the Resident Evil teams, and it was it's no.
Yeah.
Just Devil May Cry 5 is that good? Already working on Dragon's Dogma.
Right.
So, given that we still haven't seen that amazing PS5 game that we got to see 3 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Still haven't seen any of that game. And now the person who's like, yeah, I'd love to make a new Mega Man game, but I'm making this Street Fighter 6 right now. So maybe, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe after. And then he just leaves and I'm like, oh, God, why? Why? Has me a little concerned, but still, at least there are two pistons at Capcom that are firing.
Yeah, and at least that Mega Man collection sold really well.
Yeah.
So they have to be getting numbers back. Like, no, you need to keep making Mega Man. He's your mascot. Please remember this.
I mean, they have that other guy who was in all the marketing for the Battle Network collection. I imagine he'll probably just take over the Mega Man franchise.
Yeah, I just would have liked an X or original game, and it was clear that this guy had to go over and make Street Fighter 6 instead of finishing the fight on the development of one of those.
Like we've talked about a bunch. Like every major Japanese publisher has been like, yeah, we fixed ourselves, but we're still too small to make all the games people want from us. So because everybody like Capcom, Square Enix, Nintendo, and even Konami's like, we're expanding because we can't make anything like what we're making right now is we're topped out with the staff we have now. We need to expand.
Yeah.
And I would rather not have Mega Man for a while as they expanded and made it with an internal team than we got this outside studio to make Mega Man again.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
no one wants that. That's a Keiji Inafune move.
It seems to actually be like the whole industry on the Japanese side is moving away from that, to which I say good. I can't think of many examples where it went well.
Yeah, the only way in which I want a Mega Man project outsourced in the least is like maybe if you give like the 30XX people their own like spin-off thing with a level creator in it. Because it's pretty clear no one at Capcom's ever going to make a Mega Man game with a level creator in it for some fucking reason. For some reason, they cannot make a level creator internally. They will just burst into flames, I guess.
Right.
Sonic Mania is the one.
That went well,
Like,
yeah.
that's the one thing that went well.
Yeah, and that went great. Because they handed it to deep fans of Sonic who understand it mechanically at a programming level and artistic level. Guys, I think you'll doubt the full weight of what I'm saying when I say it, but Nvidia had an old school 7th gen cringe as fuck conference at Computex. Now, for people who don't know, that's like computer industry, like across all component manufacturers sort of conference. Like they all come out, it's an expo, they show new products, okay? This time, Nvidia came out and they did a show, and it was one of the craziest, most cringe shows possible. There was AI-generated karaoke where he sang and asked the audience to sing along.
What?
There was them showing off cutting-edge machine learning dialogue for NPCs in a fully ray-traced cafe. And he's like, hold T in order to talk to him. And then Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, is like, hey, Todd, how is it going? And then the guy goes, I have heard the crime is getting bad around here lately. I am worried about my ramen shop. I have heard this is the fault of this boss, this crime boss. And then he's like, do you know where the crime boss is? And then he goes, I have heard the crime boss is on this end of town. He's like, none of that was scripted. Everyone's like, yeah, no shit. He started every sentence with, I have heard. There is a lot in this conference that is amazing. There are also, it has many of the classic E3 flubs where someone goes to say a thing and the teleprompter didn't catch up, so they keep repeating themselves. Like at one point, he's like, and every light in that scene, every light in that scene generates light, and it lights the scene. And it's really good. This conference is truly amazing. This is the only GPU conference ever that I'm just like, that should get inducted.
I need to watch this. Yeah.
Whenever we do the series where we just watch bad conferences, this one gets an honorary induction into that Hall of Fame, even though it's for fucking GPUs and server racks.
The thought that that's in a conference for server racks.
Yeah, and the dude, Jensen Huang, this was a really weird conference. Gamers Nexus is really nail on the head with this. There's a weird tone to some of the shit he says where you can tell he's going off script, where he just sounds like he's angrily replying to people on Twitter almost. Where at one point he's like, you know, one of these server blades, it has this many CPUs and it has this much compute. And some people out there are saying that's an expensive price for a server. And you wait for him to follow up with some sort of like, let me draw a parallel, but he just sounds angry instead and then moves on.
Yeah, it sounds like the start of like a car salesman thing of like, that's expensive.
Right.
But here today, you can get it for such and such off.
Jensen Huang as a used car salesman is a really strong character. We need to copyright this. He's got the leather jacket still.
I guess that's more of infomercial, man, which is very, it's a brand
Are you
of
saying
Carl's
Jensen Huang should have an Nvidia branded, almost Riddler-like T-shirt, like that one guy who's going to teach you about the tax loopholes?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to save you money. He did literally say, "The more you buy, the more you save." Yeah, this conference is Matthew. Let's go.
You
God,
see,
someone
if it's
remembers
buy
his
one
name.
get one free, that actually means it's free because they're giving you something of value to the money you're spending. So technically, it evens out to zero.
Wow, that's amazing. That I don't think that checks out in any school of math, even that new school they have that every boomer hates. Wow, that's incredible. Thank you, Chris, for enlightening me.
Did you know if you fill up your car with gas and you get down to half, you put in $20, you get down to half, you put in $20, you spend half as much on gas because $20 will always fill you up from halfway.
Thank you, Shaq. That was real. Did you see any of that?
No, yeah, that's something Shaq said on Inside the NBA, the show he's on with Lucky Charles Barkley. Very funny, by the way. They say insane shit.
Shaq, that doesn't make fucking sense. He just kept saying it. He's like, if you fucking listen to me, it makes sense to you. What? Yeah. Anyway, they should get Shaq to show up at the next GPU conference with a video. That is what they were missing. That is the one calling card of an old E3 conference. They should have gotten some celebrity full of rage that he took the money. Where's Tom Hanks? Did you know Tom Hanks hosted a Sony CES?
Oh my God. What?
Yeah, Tom Hanks did that, and you could tell he just took the check and didn't give a fuck. Oof. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, we need some of that energy. Maybe next year they'll up their game and get a celebrity. They announced the MetaQuest 3. I will quickly explain what the deal with it is. It is $500 for 128 gigabytes. It is 40% thinner than the Quest 2. I don't think they said anything about weight, though. It supports mixed reality experiences because it has a color camera video feed that's a pass-through. Mm-hmm. So it can now overlay the VR onto that. So that's a thing.
That's neat.
Yeah, like they showed Demio, which is that tabletop like role-playing thing that's on PSVR 2, but now it's overlaid onto a table in real life. I was like, that seems neat.
So if you actually have a big enough table to play D&D, you can play.
Well, technically, if like this would actually be much larger than the one you used, like my desk over here.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems more possible than a lot of VR experiences. Sometimes they want the whole fucking room. And then they tell you, hey, dude, your room isn't room scale. And then you just have to go lie down in the street. They didn't confirm that the screen inside is OLED, so it probably isn't. They did confirm it's pancake lenses, which is the cheaper type of lens technology, if I remember this correctly. Quest 2 is getting a price cut back to lower, which I think it got a $50 price buff, so this is only $50 lower than it was originally, I'm pretty sure.
All right.
The MetaQuest 2 and Quest Pro, which has the same internals as the Quest 2. Reminder, it has the same CPU and GPU as the Quest 2.
What makes it Pro then?
Higher end controllers and a couple other features and lenses and stuff.
Okay.
It's way too much though. That's the $1,500 headset.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that Quest Pro is the thing that's like the insanely overpriced headset. Anyways, those two got an update, so the CPU and GPU are higher clocked. Like they get a software update, so they'll run games better, seemingly. Also, the Quest 2 got a price cut to $300 for the 128 and $350 for the 256. And that's it. I covered it all. I am still wondering, should I get a MetaQuest 2 for PC stuff? Is there something that I would want for VR chat or other things that is not possible with the Quest 2? Is a Quest, like, am I really going to do mixed reality? Yeah. Like, that seems like a neat idea, but I don't know if I would even do it.
Yeah, it's one of those things like they kept showing off as part of that Microsoft one that never materialized, or materialized only for high-end, like not...
Oh, you're talking about HoloLens.
Yeah, HoloLens. Like, that's all we ever saw from that, because that was solely in mixed reality thing.
Give us 1 week when Apple will announce theirs, and then we will now have 2 things other than HoloLens.
Assuming they
that do
didn't
mixed.
cancel it, like some reports.
Yeah,
have
some
said.
reports said they canceled it, and I saw something in the last few days. It's like, yeah, we should be seeing that in the next week. And I'm like, which is it, Apple?
I'm very curious.
Because it's either the next week or never,
Right, like-
seemingly.
Because I could absolutely see them putting in the dev effort and then realizing, no, this won't work. We
Yeah.
cannot sell this at $3,000. We're just canceling it. I can
Bob.
absolutely see that.
Bob, it was only $2,000. That's way more affordable.
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking insane that $3,000 is practically so out of reach for like the vast majority of Americans, that $3,000 isn't any more out of reach on paper?
Yeah.
Like emotionally, I feel like it's like $2,000 is already fucking insane.
Yeah, it's like I got the highest end iPad. It's not close to that.
No, not even remotely close
No.
to that. And that has practical applications like drawing Pokemon.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get one of these MetaQuest 2s. Now they're discounted so I can do VR chat. And check out the occasional game that isn't on PSVR 2.
Which they did announce some games at this event, and all of them were
They did.
PSVR 2 and this stuff, it looked like.
Shock. Let's go ahead and jump over to your fucking. Did you consolidate that?
I did.
Okay, yeah. Let's do those real quick.
Vampire the Masquerade Justice.
Sweet justice.
It's coming out later this year, allegedly, for Quest 2, Quest 3, and PSVR 2.
Cool. I'm glad a Vampire the Masquerade game is coming out that I will play because it has vampires and it's VR. How would you describe the gameplay?
It looks like you sneak around as a vampire and kill guys and suck blood and stuff.
Oh yeah, it looks kind of visually. It reminded me of The Darkness.
A little bit.
Yeah, there was like a tentacle of blood almost. It
Yeah,
looked
like
a
because they
tendril.
don't want you to actually like bite in
to
the neck.
bite.
Yeah, they have the
I
blood
feel-
just fly out of the neck.
I feel like they're losing a little bit of the
I-
audience for
I
VR
think-
Simulator for Vampire by not having you bite the neck. But
Yeah,
I think there was something where you did that in Vampire. Like, I think that's kind of how it works in Vampire the Masquerade. I might be remembering wrong, but I remember like you could suck blood without directly biting people in Bloodlines 1
okay,
RPG.
it came off as like a really lame version of Blood Omen. Because Blood Omen is like, yeah, he can suck blood from a distance, and that distance is 10 to 20 feet.
yeah, no,
It's just a jet stream.
from downtown. Bob, I noticed there's an important game you didn't put here.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
The Attack on Titan
game,
VR game.
which apparently was already announced, and this was like a re-announcement. It was a delay.
Yeah, did the concept trailer show before?
I don't think so. I think this is
Okay.
the first time we saw the concept trailer.
Seeing it really is believing it.
That concept trailer looked rough, but at the same time, like using the movement gear of Attack on Titan in VR sounds really cool. And
Yeah,
what they
it does.
showed, like as far as the character moving, looks cool. The Titans look pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine that game not just being one of the most sickening VR games possible.
Yeah, I don't
because-
see how you even remotely do that without making people sick.
I'm so excited. Bring it on.
Right?
I
Yeah,
have not had VR affect me adversely yet, and now I'm just kind of curious where the limit
now
is.
now it's
yeah,
like,
we're
yeah, like,
both in the same headspace.
how built different am I?
Yeah, exactly. Keep chroming me out, man.
The other thing was a Bulletstorm VR got announced. That's PSVR 2, PC VR, and Quest.
Cool.
Man, they made that thing look like Resistance 2. Because this is a trailer designed for the Quest, I assume.
Yeah,
And it looks rough.
It does look really, really rough. It is funny just knowing these Quest games will look radically better on a PSVR 2 because of the PS5.
Right.
Because this is still a mobile chip.
Yeah, so just you have to just remember what Star Wars looked like on one and the other. And it's like, oh, right.
Right. That was maybe the biggest that gap will ever be, but I don't know. I'd have to buy both versions. Actually, if I do get a MetaQuest, I'll just buy Star Wars on it to get to see it at all in the flesh.
Right.
Because seeing it in VR is really different from seeing a trailer or picture. In fact, every trailer for a VR game looks fucking terrible. Basically, it's just presenting you with the ideas.
Right.
And you have to be like, oh, yeah, that would whip ass. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I had to do that for Synapse. where they're just showing me things and I'm like, this looks kind of dopey. And then I'm like, oh, right, VR. Yeah, that's going to fucking whip.
It looked like in the Bulletstorm, they was using two guns, like two different ones of the crazy guns you get in that game at the same time. Like, it looked like they did a lot of weird stuff that you couldn't do in the original game, but now you can in the VR version.
Did they show anyone slide kick?
I don't think so. I assume that's still in there because it's got to be the same game.
Welcome to the 2023 Game of the Year sequence. Most nauseating VR game.
Right.
First category.
God, the Attack on Titan games this year too.
It better be. I need something to really own that category if we're gonna do it. And that's our VR segment. Now for the really fucking nerdy tech segment that I hand off to Bob. Good fucking God. How do I even explain this to fucking normal people? Okay, guys. So an OLED has an instant pixel response, meaning there is no blur on the screen between frames. It's all in your eye. Because unlike CRTs, which would scan out the image and darken, because it's just one ray of light that is doing that, it holds the whole image on the screen the whole time, and your eye is blurring it. Okay, so they invented this thing called black frame insertion, where it shows you the image and then it turns off the image, so that way your eye can process it a little bit better. If you're playing... Oh, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. If you're playing something like, say, a Sonic game where you scroll smoothly, turn on black frame insertion, you can see the pixels a lot better. So, there are problems and limitations with how a lot of things are implemented on black frame insertion. There are ways we can make it better and more like CRTs. Nvidia has announced an update for their existing line of G-Sync 1440p 360 hertz monitors, which are $1,000 if anyone's curious how much that costs.
And those are LCDs, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But they announced an update for it to do a new type of ultra low motion blur. Basically, they're making it more and more like a CRT. So the backlight is going to blast an insanely bright light as soon as the scan out is done and then turn off as quickly as possible. So that way you can get the crispest image as it tracks across the thing. They made a video showing this off exactly. They explain all of that. I'm sorry, chat's shooting me. I try to ignore chat, but they're saying everybody 1-2 Switch just got stealth announced. Fuck you. Are you serious?
There's no way.
No. No, what do you mean this isn't a Nintendo of America tweet? No. We were in the good timeline even slightly.
But
no, it's got the horse. It's literally everything we heard.
No, this was supposed to be too bad for Nintendo to release.
This sucks, man. God damn it. Do they have a date on this? When are you
We're at the pre-order. There's a pre-order here
button. It's the end of this month. It's June 30th. Fucking Christ.
All right.
Anyway, so they're doing it at 360 hertz. It's burning the image in really crisply. You can go watch their video to see how much of a difference that makes. It's getting us closer to CRT technology. Now, I would be lining up to be the first person to buy this, assuming I had the funds, except for the fact it's still not an OLED. And even though the motion blur will be perfect, the actual pixel detail will not be as good as an OLED. So, absolutely amazing technology. Definitely where we need to take everything going forward. Every TV manufacturer should try to do something like this. But it is for $1,000 monitor on an LCD. So, thanks, NVIDIA.
Yeah.
Thank you for the really hard research. There's a lot of really cool science that goes into this that is way above the technicality, the technical nature of everything I just discussed. Like, way above that. Talking about pixel overdrive and shit like that. We're not going to worry about it. Anyway, let's move to the Bob segment. Hey, Bob.
Hey.
Hey.
Just start at the top?
Sure.
All right.
You do you. Oh, wait. We need to talk about the 7th guest VR, which got announced while you were outside of the room.
Wait, we just got an unbelievably important breaking news.
I just said all of that if it's everybody 1-2 Switch. Is it?
Yes, that was. It was.
I was like, why is Chris silent during this horseman appearing? Oh, he was gone. Okay.
Because I was looking at it, and it took all of my fucking brain power to understand what I was seeing.
The worst part is I saw the image and I thought the horseman was holding a gun at me because that's how it felt. And that's what he's doing. He's doing this.
I had to check 4 ways. Like, this isn't fake, right?
Yeah, you would think
I'm
this
not
was a
being
fake
punked.
Twitter account that was like
Right.
Nintendo Zero of America. Yeah, this fucking sucks. But at least it's $30. I'm not gonna do it.
No.
I bought one to Switch. That was bad enough. And then I hear this is the nightmare one they wanted to cancel.
Yeah, I bet it's still like $60 or something too.
No, everyone's saying it's $30.
That's something. At least they learned that. They can't charge full price for it.
Yeah, I don't fucking. Yeah, do you think they're gonna use the HD Rumble to make it really feel like you're holding a ball sack this time? Because last time they were like, how many ice cubes are in this? How many dice are in this? And this time they're gonna be like, that was so last gen. Now you're holding testicles. Of course. Hey Bob,
Yeah.
give me the news.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about the Seventh Guest VR.
Oh yeah, they announced that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nothing else?
I didn't look up any other details. The fact that they announced that was enough of a stroke-inducing moment.
Fair.
Because it's the 7 Guests. For people who don't know, that was a Sega CD PC CD game.
Great.
That game's ancient.
We got some incredible news this week.
Yeah.
Devolver Digital announced the Devolver Direct, the return of Volvi.
Oh, that's great. I love Volvi.
Yeah, everybody loves
Yeah.
Volvi. It's going to be June 8th at 5 p.m. our time.
Do you think we're gonna get one of those classic Volvi, like a throwback like Sonic Mania, where we get another Volvi 2D platformer?
You know, I can dream.
Yeah, I feel like that's happening. I mean, that's the only reason you would make so many different clips on Twitter of all the games Volvi has been in. Because it would just be cruel to make those montages and then not have a single thing to announce.
I've always been a bigger fan of 3D Volvi, though.
You think
I
they
want to
would-
go back to Volvi Adventure 1.
That feels like a stretch. I don't know if they're
Wait,
willing.
Was Adventure the ones that were on the PS1?
Yes.
Heresy. You suck, and those sucked, and the franchise was never good on the PS1.
See, this is what I'm talking about. They want to go older so that way aggro can stop being crotchety and you'll be mildly satisfied.
Look, I'm
Right.
just saying the music was better on the Genesis ones, as it always is.
He's right to say it. He's
I
right to say
really
it.
liked that 7th gen reboot that nobody else liked.
Wait,
The
was
one where
that-
they decided Volvi needed to have a gun.
I don't know.
Wait,
I
that
am
was
not
real?
down for Volvi kissing that human woman.
It was fine though because he used tongue.
I can see your point.
You got to differentiate somehow. Anyways, I'm really excited for the return of Volvi next Thursday. That is 1 week away before we find out what Volvi is up to nowadays. And I'm really excited.
They also announced the Ratchet Clank Rift Apart PC port.
The impossible port, Nixies is doing it.
Yes, Nixies is doing it.
Oh
It
my
comes out
God.
July 26th, so we're pretty close. Like that's only like a month or 2 months away thereabout. It's gonna have ultra widescreen support, unlocked frame rate.
That's cool. I would love to see that game run at like 4K 120.
Right.
I'm really excited for the drama that will happen every time any PS5 game's PC specs are announced. Because people did that with Returnal, so when they do it for this game, it's gonna be very funny.
They did it for Returnal and Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I've already just been saying like, why buy a PS5 then? It's like this game is not going to run on your PC, sir.
Yes, you
Yeah,
will.
Yeah,
like-
those are the facts.
Like, I'm sorry, sir, who built your gaming PC in 2017 is like, I can run anything because technology hasn't moved in a decade. I'm sorry that you're going to have to spend a couple $1,000s to get this game to run on this the way
No.
it would a PS5.
No, it should run on my PC. They're not optimizing. I'm withering.
I'm excited for every portal to open and the game to freeze for a solid like minute.
yeah.
And then you go to the portal.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that direct storage like never took off in a big way. So
Yeah.
they don't have a PC counter to this. It's just going to be hope the SSD can cope.
Mm-hmm.
Nixies is kind though. You know what they're going to do for me and just for me? they're going to use all the RAM on the 4090 like no other game will. And I'll just be like, I would simply keep multiple levels in RAM at all times.
I would simply have a $4,000 PC.
I was at a fucking social gathering yesterday on my fucking birthday, and someone was just like, man, the amount of times you bring up a 4090 on the podcast, I'm like, you said that like I'm proud of it. Most of the time, it's like, that shit didn't run on my machine, and I have a 4090.
It's funny. Having a 4090 is inherently funny. First of all, it's funny because a 4090 is the size of a refrigerator. The card itself is the size of a refrigerator. Two, it's funny because PC gaming sucks right now.
Yeah, I have the top of the worldwide GPU in the world at the worst time imaginable.
Yeah, the 4090 is literally a meme.
And yet it's the only good GPU Nvidia has launched in the 4000 series.
Yep.
I had to get the water cooled one so it could even fit in my gigantic case.
Right? Like, that is by no means a normal case size.
No, that's the bigger end of case sizes for sure. And even still, it's just like, dude, no, it ain't happening. Don't even try. I actually am excited for this PC port. I'm really excited. I need to know.
Yeah, I always like seeing what happens with these Sony PC ports, and Ratchet's one of the coolest PS5 games. So
that's one of the happiest like Sony exclusives I've been until Gran Turismo 7 came out.
Yeah.
Rift Apart's a really great game. We need a sequel.
We do.
We need another Ratchet game. It's been 2 years, I think, now, because it was June or late May. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully they got a team working on it.
Yeah, hopefully something's happening there. Anyways.
All right, my next piece of news. This isn't actually Yuji Naka's prison sentence yet, but it's funny to say they announced his prison sentence.
Oh, they announced his prison sentence?
They announced what prosecution would be pursuing now that he has been convicted.
Yes.
Oh, okay, so this is like over here when they say, oh, the maximum is, and they just list some bullshit.
Yes, but it might go a little differently in Japan.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? But they're pursuing 2.5 years prison time and a $1.21 million fine. That's in US dollars. It's a much higher yen value that I did not write. So that's a lot. I don't know if I assume that's more than what he earned from doing the.
Yeah, we made fun of him constantly because of how little he made with the first one, and that was the thing. He did multiple, remember?
Yeah, I know. He did.
That's about how much he invested via the insider trading. I do not know if he made any money on it because I don't know how much those stocks moved from the information that he knew.
Mm-hmm.
Really? He invested 1.21 million? That seems like a lot more than I remember.
Money. The first one was a very small amount of money, but then the second one was more.
I thought the first one was completely piddly, like 18K or something, and then the second one was like 300K.
No, it was more than that. It was a lot.
Okay. I'll let the audience decide whether or not that's his prison sentence. Vote now.
I don't want to do the Redfall nightmare yet.
Okay, let's move on to other things.
We found out Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. They rescheduled that beta test. They delayed it to mid-July. So we don't have an exact day, but it's in July. Woo.
I love GBF VR.
People found out that Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater is just reusing the old voice lines. They aren't not getting new recordings.
Why even do this? What's the point of this fucking project, Konami? Like, I'm sorry. What is the point? You made the game look nicer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if it's going to play any better either.
You can't add new stuff because you just said you're only reusing these fucking voice lines.
Yep.
Literally, what is the point of this project now?
Yeah, I figured this was the foregone conclusion when they said, yeah, don't worry, we're getting the old cast. And then
they could just be good.
David Hayter just went, what? I was like, oh God, they're just reusing the audio? Do they even have premium recordings?
Yeah, right? Who knows?
Like, I don't know what audio studio they used back then. Do you know what most audio studios sounded like in the PS2 era?
Well, Dan, they can use that new fucking Adobe Magic improve the quality of your audio tech.
Don't.
In fact, I'm almost certain that's what they're going to do.
Look, the game takes place in the Cold War. It'll sound retro. It's fine.
Yeah, like Not even just from the element of that same, it's like, what's the point now? It's just going to be the exact same fucking game.
Now, how come when he says it sounds retro, it's fine? He's okay with that for fucking this, but fucking Volvy's soundtrack on the PS1 makes him mad. Mark's motherboard knocked it out of the park with that one, you asshole.
Yeah, and some versions have blast processing and some versions don't.
God, fucking boomer! You hypocritical gamer boomers are all the same. God damn it.
Like, this is now a project that's like the cynical assholes view of video game remakes. Like the ones who got really snide about Resident Evil 4 remake.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like this is just going to be like their delusions of it. If it's the exact same game, but we made the graphics better, and now it's $70.
Kirby Cat's like, is it safe this time? Come on, guys, we all agree this time, right? Zoinks!
Yeah, I'm now the opinion. Like, here's my new gamer premonition. This is gonna remove cool tech stuff in the original.
Oh, of course.
Like, there will be cool interactions in the original game, like maybe how you can poison the fucking patrolling guards. Just something that makes no sense to be gone will be gone.
It's a good thing that trailer instilled so much confidence in us in the studio making it and the vision they have for the project. Oh, wait, they just zoomed in on Snake after a misdirect.
So moving on.
Great. If you caught last Friday's stream live,
Yeah.
you accidentally, because it was a hot mic, you accidentally got to hear me go, what the fuck, as Bob tells me this news? And I'm just like, what the fuck is their goddamn problem? Stop reinventing the wheel. Hey, Bob, what's the news?
So Naughty Dog put out a statement that The Last of Us multiplayer needs more time. And the company is also working on a newest single player experience. They did not say this was for The Last of Us, they just said in general. At the same time, Bloomberg reports were coming out about, Bungie did that thing where they went around to the Sony games, like all the studios doing games as a service projects, and told them that this game maybe wasn't coming together well. And then they removed most staff from it.
And that lines up with at least 3 stories we've gotten in the last month.
Yeah.
Sony, Bungie's good. Are they really good enough where their executive team gets to decide what games are getting published by PlayStation?
Yeah. I think that's crazy because I feel like Destiny is not how a good service game should be structured at all.
I don't think it's made by people who authoritatively understand the only way that service games can be made. That's nuts.
The only thing I hear about Destiny is how everybody fucking hates its structure and how it's run. Like, I never hear any other thing about Destiny ever. Not a single fucking time. Even World of Warcraft, I hear other things about it.
I feel
I now can have no faith in any of these Sony multiplayer things. None. They've ripped out any possible charitability in my soul and stomped on it.
Yeah, it feels like the last thing even I wanted was for all of them to resemble Destiny.
Yeah, because Destiny is a nightmare.
I really like Destiny 1. Destiny 2 burned everything to the ground and rebuilt in its place an absolute nightmare of a system that's just not what anyone would want at any level. Like, name one content problem with Destiny 1 as a long-term service game.
The main problem with Destiny 1 is that so much of the stuff in multiplayer, like all the competitive guns and everything, is tied to stuff you do in the single-player campaign, and that makes the multiplayer less fun. Like, you have to go through a bunch of loops and hoops to get what you want, and there isn't a steady feed of new stuff either.
So, because there are stats on guns in the single player that feeds back into the multiplayer.
And also, you need to unlock your whole skill set through the single player.
Yeah,
basically.
I don't think any of that shit's going to be what's happening with any of these projects. I don't know. I feel like the RPG element of Destiny isn't what they're going around knocking heads about.
Probably.
I feel like it's larger content plans of like, no, like you need a hub city and you need to have these systems that and a narrative that people buy into long term and do these other things. I mean, I'm sure the guns will somewhat affect multiplayer, but I don't think it's going to be exactly Destiny. Right? And that is by far one of the least problems with Destiny. That makes it a bad Halo replacement.
Right.
Because, of course, for a fucking multiplayer shooter. Like, before Destiny 1 came out, it was just like, oh, cool, we have a good shooter, multiplayer shooter on fucking PlayStation. Fucking finally. Sorry, Resistance. And then it comes out and it's like, oh, I can't sit down and play this with my friends because they need to be playing the single player.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like, WoW and all these other things are that. You know, when you do a long-term content plan, if you are a larger project, you form a guild of people who are committed to the thing. Like, no one's going into Final Fantasy 15 or something else. Sorry, 14. Something else with that much content in a linear narrative and just being like, my problem is I can't do the multiplayer with people who just bought the game.
Right, but I feel like most of these things should be made more of the model of. It sounds like they care
Fortnite?
more about multiplayer first of something more like Fortnite.
Right.
Makes a lot more sense because I can just boot up Fortnite. Of like, I have not played that game basically at all. I can go play and somewhat enjoy it.
Right. I think in the most cynical version of this, the most nightmare version of this, every one of these is made exactly to that degree like Destiny. And that is not what I assume even still, because that it would be psychotic, because a lot of these games can't fit into that mold.
Right.
Like, they can't turn Twisted Metal into Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
That is impossible. They're going to be like, you need to go on your single player patrol missions to get enough currencies to spend at the car in town that sells you the legendary drop once a week at a special spot. Yeah, you can't do that with everything.
Yeah.
But it's still just like, once again, Destiny's fine in my opinion. Asterisk, 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 because Destiny 2 really isn't, and they haven't saved that sinking ship.
Yeah, I also think it's insane because it's like their content plans buy expansion passes twice a year. Like, what? Like,
Is it twice? I thought it was once.
You need to buy the main expansion, but then you need to buy the expansion for the expansion. Like, you need to buy the season pass for the expansion every time.
I thought it was just one expansion every year, and then there's a
no, there's a season pass for every expansion.
Yeah, there's a different term than season pass where it's just like the fucking Fortnite thing, right?
The battle pass?
Yeah,
I don't know if there's a battle pass. I think it is.
There was a
literally
battle
season
pass in Destiny. Okay, what's the season pass in Destiny? Because all I know about is buy the DLC.
Because you buy the DLC and then you get the season pass to get all the story in the DLC. Like, there's other additional story stuff that releases afterwards.
I don't think they've done that since that, like, the 2 times they did that in Destiny 1.
No, they've done doing it like every time. Like, I know that it happens for several times for Destiny 2.
I don't think there's anything for the latest DLC.
Maybe not for the latest, but
Yeah.
that might be what they just announced with the Fade to Light or whatever.
Okay, yearly pass that gets you all of the seasons. So in that story content locked behind that?
Uh-huh. So new like real missions locked behind another set of passes you need. Like, Destiny all the way down is this net that's terrible.
But either way, we're all in agreement that they have not proven themselves to be authoritatively the only people who know how a live service game can work. So this is still just a fucking insane thing to have happen.
Right. This feels like they do not feel like the people to talk to about this.
It's so insane how, like, it feels like Bungie just stumbled into a room drunk and got declared king. It's like, oh, well, every multiplayer game ever made from now on should be like your game. And I'm like, huh? I just woke up. What?
Yeah, it does feel a little strange because, like, the thing I think of as the masterful part of Destiny is not what they've done with it service-wise. It's always been like the aesthetics, the cool world, and the tight gunplay.
Right? Like, they make a shooter feel good. They don't do the other parts well, unfortunately.
So, looking forward to, like, I don't even know the thing they described for Marathon. How the fuck is that going to be?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I apparently, like the world in Tarkov persists for like 6 months, and you drop in and out. So maybe it'll be something like that. Like, it'll be an even more MMO like Destiny.
Okay.
But yeah, it sounds like Last of Us 2 multiplayer is on indefinite hiatus. I don't know.
Like a back burner? It sounded
back-
like there's a small team working on it and just reevaluating the entire fucking idea.
Right? Like, it seems like it's back to concept phases. That's what it sounds like, at least.
This is when I would
So
like to
Anthem.
say. This is when I would like to say The Last of Us 1 had a really great multiplayer mode. And to anyone who really enjoyed that, this saga has been the most infuriating bullshit ever.
Yeah, a ton of people just wanted that in Last of Us 2. Like, they wanted to buy Last of Us 2 for multiplayer mode,
Yeah.
like the first game had.
I'm really scared that there's just some fucking brain disease over with Jim Ryan now, where he's like, well, yeah, they might play these multiplayer things, but we need this fucking bullshit progression system to keep them invested in playing it. We don't want them to get out ever, even if they gave us money to get in.
Right? And that's crazy because it's like that first mode had a lot of fans.
Oh, yeah. No, everyone loved that. That was one of the most popular multiplayer games Sony ever shipped that gen.
They should have gotten that multiplayer mode up while the TV show was going and not that remaster.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I feel like people would have been like completely down for that.
Yeah. It's absolutely insane. Yeah. Last of Us 2 came out like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to have that multiplayer at launch. And then that just got delayed. And then here we are. So many years after hearing that it was going to have multiplayer. No multiplayer and it's getting rebooted. That sucks.
Yeah.
That really sucks.
Now, I feel like that the possibility that The Last of Us multiplayer has story elements, it's now like that meme of the soldier blocking the sleeping child from all the knives. But it's The Last of Us multiplayer blocking us from The Last of Us 3.
God, I think there were things about the story. Yeah, there were leaks about the story elements being in there, right? God.
Is there a Fey demon or something I can consort with to get the deal to just replace Jim Ryan and go full Joker mode? Just be like, Naughty Dog, you're not allowed to make realistic games anymore. You have to reboot Jack.
Don't worry, Dan. Once a couple of these service games come out and maybe don't do so fucking hot, or get trapped in development hell forever, like this Last of Us one seems to have occurred, I'm sure Jim Ryan will sort himself out.
You know, I sit here and I'm constantly amazed he's survived this long.
Yeah, I really
Because
like.
none of the other Sony CEOs did.
Yeah, he needs to just pull the parachute cord and leave.
Yeah.
Like, we're really at that point. Please
Yeah, I don't know.
go work for Atari or whatever you guys do after you leave.
I can't remember what Sean Layden's thing was.
Just report directly from the CEO's office to prison. That should ideally be how every executive
Yes.
transitionary phase leaves. It's like, Ray, you did it great, good or bad. It's just like, okay, please report to the local maximum security prison.
I got one last piece of news.
Oh, it's a small one though, right?
So fucking upset, so fucking mad. I just feel the bile rising up in my fucking heart.
I was screaming. Every new detail that came out of this, I'm screaming.
So Bloomberg got a report about Redfall.
Everything's fine now, right?
No, and it never was. So the whole reason Redfall exists is ZeniMax wanted a more broadly appealing game after Prey didn't sell that well. And they also want microtransactions. So that's what set them on the path of making this multiplayer Arkane game, which was apparently something from directors Harvey Smith and Ricardo Bear, who'd worked on Deus Ex and stuff. But they couldn't define well what that even meant. So there's a bunch of confusion. They lose about 70% of their staff from when Prey launched to when Redfall launched.
That studio no longer exists anymore.
Yeah.
Like it just isn't a real studio anymore. It's now a fucking hollow shell. And the thing with the bad direction, apparently they would just like stumble around the fucking offices mumbling shit about Destiny and Borderlands. Like they didn't have any fucking idea what they were supposed to be making. And when the devs were like, hey, heads of the studio, what are we fucking making? They couldn't get an answer.
Yeah, it seemed that most people working there did not want to make a multiplayer game at all.
It's so weird to see the thing you bemoan and joke about happening to the industry happen this concisely and textbook.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then the Microsoft acquisition happened. And people hoped Microsoft would cancel the game or let them reboot it. They did not do that. They canceled the PlayStation version. That's it. They then took a hands-off approach.
Microsoft is like it's unbelievable how we have the touch of death. We can't touch any of these studios we acquire or we'll ruin them. Has now those external studios now have the opposite problem of their internal ones. Of it's like we're not getting involved at all and just letting horrible things, these companies spin around with no leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, they'll fix Activision. Really? They wouldn't even cancel an obviously terrible game or change its direction. You think they're going to throw every single project Activision Blizzard has into development hell by clearing out abusive middle management? That ain't going to fucking happen.
Yeah.
You don't spend $70 billion to throw every project into development hell by cutting the heads off of leadership, even if you should.
Mm-hmm. And of course, this is where we get that amazing quote of leaders saying that, oh, the project's all going to come together at the last minute with arcane magic.
The arcane that is what EA leadership said about every BioWare game they shipped. And this is the mindset that slowly crushed BioWare down into a state where they can't ship anything. We didn't talk about this, by the way, when it happened. It happened like 2 months ago. That fucking Dragon Age game ain't coming out. They were like, we had to move the entire Mass Effect game to the Mass Effect team Dragon Age because this shit ain't coming together.
Man, Western gaming is going great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what arcane magic? They just said Prey wasn't successful. What fucking arcane magic? The one game the studio made was not successful.
What are you talking about? Arcane magic. They made 70% of their staff disappear over the production of one terrible video game.
That's pretty magic. That's like, I wish I could cast some words into the air that would make 70% of people leave my vicinity.
Somebody in chat said time to wait
there.
7 years for Dragon Age. We've already waited 7 years for Dragon Age. The last one came out in 2014, 9 years ago.
So yeah, this is this is absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
When we talk about the industry and we talk about like how it's going behind the scenes, like Aggro was saying, we generally are speaking broadly. Not every story or assertion we make is happening at an individual studio, largely, is what we imply when we say these things. But this story is literally every single one of them.
Yeah, and I guess a lot of people also didn't want to, like, they couldn't hire people because they couldn't, the game wasn't announced. So you couldn't tell people that we want to find multiplayer engineers. Instead, so a lot of people who were trying to get hired were like single player guys who want to make immersive sims.
God. All of this because ZeniMax forced them to make a game that they later recanted wanting them to make.
Yeah, because later they took out all the microtransaction stuff.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
You know, I had half been saying it as like what's the term? Like almost like a mantra. Like if I say it enough times, it'll be spoken into being.
Mm-hmm.
I really think like the chickens have come home to roost. The unsustainable practices of all these big Western devs. It has come time for the money to be taken out of the bank account. Oops, you don't have enough. Like some people are like, how are these companies gonna suffer financially? They sell so much each game. If they can't ship a fucking game, they can't sell it. Now can they?
Right. Yeah, we're hitting a point where it really is just they may not ukemi this time.
like Activision is moving heaven and earth to not have to skip a Call of Duty year, because you know how much fucking money they lose if they skip a year on Call of Duty? They lose like $5 billion.
Mm-hmm. And they absolutely cannot see that dip in the chart.
No.
That will break their minds.
Yeah. Ignore the fact that they have
the
Warzone.
Sokol tank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It was a creative vision problem, according to Phil Spencer. And according to other people, you know, the studio obviously shipped the game they wanted to, and it's just not great. They had fully meditated on every mechanic in the game clearly and obviously. It shipped when it was ready. It was just not good. That was the problem.
Apparently, a lot of people were surprised who got to play it early, who got to play it like 2 years ago. Like, this hasn't changed nearly as much as I thought it would have.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
That doesn't surprise me at all. That seems so much like what happens when you have no leadership. It's like, what am I supposed to be working on? I guess I'll just work on random bullshit. Oops,
right.
A bunch of people working on random bullshit doesn't come together to make a game.
Oh yeah, that actually, that makes a lot of sense because about 2 years ago, this is about what I imagined it looked like.
Yeah, right?
Not done.
Right? In no way.
Shocking.
Shippable.
This is fucking nuts. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure everyone at that studio is fucking furious after that Phil Spencer interview where they basically blame Arkane Austin for all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if it doesn't come out a couple months from now. Yeah, everybody still there from Prey left after that interview.
Oh yeah, I'm sure everyone there right now is probably thinking of leaving after that interview. Because they were forced to make a game none of them wanted to make, and then they were blamed when it was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking idiots. Jesus Christ.
I'm now imagining, like, leadership from these studios trying to talk to Phil Spencer and him fucking running. He's like, no, if I give you any advice, you'll melt.
He's like fighting them off and crawling into his car. Drive, and he slaps.
Guidance. God, do you know how fucking over it is if Starfield isn't good?
Oh yeah, no, it's we are literally
honestly, I don't think the actual quality of Starfield is at all going to affect what happens seconds after Starfield launches. It's all going to happen anyway.
Phil Spencer, his fingers, chain link fence. He's shaking it back and forth. Children are playing in the
I really do wonder,
the playground.
Like, is
the nuke goes off.
Is the combination of one, the aura around Microsoft at the moment, and point two, the fact it's been 8 years since an actual one of these Bethesda games. Will that like shatter the magic? Like people won't go, haha, the game didn't load like they did back then. Like, will the narrative have turned enough that isn't quirky and cute anymore? Now they're pissed at Bethesda.
That is what Microsoft and ZeniMax and everyone has set up perfectly.
Yeah, no, standards have changed dramatically.
Let's put it this way, okay? Back then, when Fallout 4 shipped, there were, let's say, 3 spotlights on it, right? Skyrim gets 1 because it's the game of a generation. Oh my God, what an amazing experience. Fallout 4 comes out and more and more people start to get disappointed. Mm-hmm. Then now Fallout 76 comes out and people are like, what the fuck? This isn't up to snuff. What the hell's going on here? And it keeps going. Now, because of the Xbox shit, on top of all this other shit, they have like 19 hard spotlights on it, practically melting Starfield. The box itself melting on store shelves as everyone just goes, you're going to be perfect and run great, right?
Yeah, you're going to be a 10.
You're going to be as good as Tears of the Kingdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom and Spider-Man 2, which will probably launch first.
Yes. I don't doubt that.
They're really setting up Starfield in a bad fucking position.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. I was talking to a friend who doesn't like, they follow gaming, but they're not like super like that's their main hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And even they're just like, we need Microsoft so that way Sony doesn't get worse. Like, even if I don't ever buy any of their products, there must be, it's like the Sith, okay?
Yeah.
There must always be 2 fungible consoles.
I mean, I made this joke. Not where anybody could see it, of like Satya Nadella going down to Bethesda and Obsidian being like, get ready to learn Chinese, buddy, because you're being sold to NetEase. Because I do wonder, will that happen? Will like NetEase or Tencent be the ones who are like, if you're done with Xbox, we'll take that. We'll take the whole thing.
If enough of these NetEase projects come out really good, then maybe people would be like, yeah. But let's be real. The really fanatic fans that Xbox has left will never be okay with that.
Yeah, no,
they'll be owned by
that'd have
China.
to be hidden. like extremely.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
if
it's
we
just be
go
like
back-
the Chinese console.
It's
Never.
the Chinese console.
If we go back to none of the big platforms being American, PR people and journalists will come up with slurs you could only dream of. They will come up with shit that would make your 90-year-old great-grandfather blood.
That is some
What? Me
cough
comparing
syrup
this
before
game's
sleeping.
unfocused story to Chop Suey was completely unrelated to who made it.
That's just a thing I do all the time. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I do want to see what happens with Xbox. I do really think Sony needs to be challenged. And, you know, Xbox could be doing that, but currently they're not.
Yeah, it's really sad to have this third player who's not playing.
Let's count all the ways they're not challenging Sony. Is their online cheaper or more comprehensive but better? No. Is their box cheaper? No. Does their box have more functionality in any measurable way? No. Their storage costs more than Sony because they made it proprietary bullshit. Their catalog doesn't challenge anyone in the industry, let alone Sony.
Mm-hmm.
This is such a nightmare. They used to have an advantage, and you know what that was? Back compat, and they killed it over a year ago.
I think it was longer than that. I think it was before the Series X came out.
No, it was slightly after because they had to do the 60 frames per second updates, and that was the last wave.
Yeah.
That was it, the last hurrah.
In 7th Gen, Microsoft aggressively competed on price. They sensed weakness with Sony's fucking gigantic $600 box and slashed, and their whole thing was getting the 360's price lower.
Yeah.
But now they don't give a shit. They just like, well, it doesn't matter if only a couple people are in our ecosystem. We'll charge them rent and it'll be a tidy little profit and keep us stumbling along injured forever.
You know why Sony shit and Nintendo shit is getting better over time is because they have what we call employees. And so there is a gained sediment of knowledge building up at the bottom of these studios over time as they accomplish more and more amazing things. And there is no mystery when we look at Microsoft why no studio can ship a fucking game anymore because they won't hire employees.
Yeah, with Nintendo, like they work with these Western companies, and I can't vet this; it's just fucking hearsay. But they're like, okay, what's your 1, 10, and 50-year plan? And they get to the third one, and these companies are like, what? Huh?
Excuse me? You want what? Level 5 is like dead, dead, and dead, and they're like, okay. Factor 5, not level 5.
Yeah, level 5 actually turned that shit around. I'm starting to wonder: is the difference really as simple as Japan doesn't have venture capitalists? Is it literally just that?
I mean, yeah, our financial sector ruins everything.
Like Japan doesn't have a group of psychos going, no, you need to make more money every single quarter forever, or else we'll start strip mining the company.
I mean, there was, like, if you think about it, Japan had to go through these reforms in the 90s for the financial sector. Like, I believe it's the beginning of the 90s is when that bubble burst. We still haven't done that. In fact, if anything, we've made a lot of things infinitely worse since then.
Yeah, we've had it's busted for us a couple times, but they're just like, no, we don't need to fix anything. Just build on the rubble.
So
when we'll Godzilla tear down our financial sector.
Yeah. Yeah, so I need Microsoft to start competing. The Series S is not competing. Game Pass isn't competing. Let me explain to you. People buy a console because they want to go to a place for a great experience they can't already get. The Series S and Game Pass is not a great experience they can't already get. It feels like a fucking dilapidated Kmart. That is not, the teenagers didn't go, God, I wish they would build a broken down Kmart in town so I could hang out there. They just decided that was good enough. And good enough isn't. It just fucking isn't. You need to have more. You need to challenge them. And they are completely unchallenged. Sony is making so much fucking bank because in no way are they insecure.
Yeah.
It's at a point where Sony could skip a year on shipping any games, and people would still feel like more positive about their prospects owning a PS5. They'd be like, but yeah, Wolverine's coming, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah, because it didn't already skip 2 years.
Meanwhile, Halo fans, Gears fans, anyone who ever loved Rare, Arkane Austin fans, it sucks so much. They can do better. They're one of the richest companies in the world. They just choose not to.
Yeah.
They made an almost identical box. There is functionally no major differences between these two boxes, except for the PS5 plays 0 PS3 games. And the Series X plays some 360 games. God, fuck it. I hope we get an update on Rare. And it's like, oh yeah, that's launching in 3 months. That's what I need at this point.
I'd like there to be anything. Please show Avowed. Please show a new Rare thing. Even go, we canceled the back compat initiative because we completed our actual fucking it plays everything emulator. We can't offer everything.
That shit ain't happening. That
License,
sucks so much.
I
hate them for saying it. I hate them for saying that. That is a Phil Spencer spell.
Yeah.
Like, just like, remember, hey guys, you remember when that Xbox One VR headset launched? The one they talked about multiple years and then everyone just stopped talking about?
Yep.
They partnered with Oculus. You all remember?
I just hope bare minimum we don't have the fucking dog shit we had last year where it's like, we're going to focus on games that are launching day one on Game Pass. So none of them are anything you give a shit about except maybe Wolong.
Man, I just realized a lot of those have not launched yet. Like the one I was excited for just still isn't out. I don't even remember the name anymore.
Yeah, I mean, like, I remember people telling me even people who like Game Pass are starting to feel like Game Pass is soft. Like they're feeling less
Atlas
positive
Fallen?
about it.
No.
But I sucker punched Bob.
Yeah.
Bob's like, Game Pass fans are waking up.
The Game Pass fans are saying Game Pass is soft.
Yeah. It doesn't go hard.
That's been a thing for a while, and every
Yeah.
time Xbox gets really fucking hyper defensive about it because they know that's all they have.
Uh-huh.
Like I remember Kotaku a while back putting out an article. It's like people, like a lot of Game Pass people have been like, "Where's the fucking games? You aren't dropping any." And then Xbox did a really snarky quote tweet of like, "Say you don't play indie games without saying you don't play indie games."
Yeah,
I'm like, at this point, I was really, really, really harsh on Game Pass initially because it felt like a terrible attempt to doom the entire industry. But now I know fucking nobody subs to Game Pass, basically.
Well, here's the thing, okay? Game publishers, by and large, are not the same as music artists. There was no world in which somehow Game Pass led to the game developers and game publishers of the world getting a buying stake in Microsoft and letting them take advantage of them only long enough to do that, which is what happened with Spotify for people who don't know. Sony and a few other large music labels were like, oh yeah, fuck us, keep fucking us. By the way, we own majority share. You're going to stop fucking us. You're going to fuck everyone else. That was never going to happen. So, of course, game publishers would only line up for that deal for so long.
Yeah, I assume after each of them did it and then got burnt.
Right.
Now they're not doing it.
It feels like the main point of Game Pass at this point is for Embracer and 505 and all those tier of publishers to fleece their fucking smaller devs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to need a better source than that, Straw Hat, if I'm even going to talk about it. Yeah, this sucks. I wish somebody would challenge Sony. Anyways, anyone want to say anything else before I end this episode of Big Thing Dimension?
I don't think so.
Oh, let's talk about this for 1 second.
Sure.
So the CMA appeal got set up for late July.
Oh yeah, I forgot about. We forgot to bring this up in time.
Microsoft is pushing really heavily for like an express thing because allegedly Activision is getting sick of fucking waiting and getting cold feet, and their deal ends on July 17th. That is when they need to renew the acquisition arrangement. And there's a lot of rumors that Comcast is hovering right fucking around Activision being like, if Microsoft doesn't buy them, we fucking will.
Yeah.
And let me be clear, Comcast should also not be allowed to buy them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously.
But if we somehow stumble into the timeline where Xbox loses $4 billion for nothing, and then Comcast just comes in and picks up Activision and carts them away, I don't think I'll ever stop laughing.
Yeah.
I think what will be interesting is if Comcast buys them, how does their behavior change? Because I feel like Comcast, being in a different industry, would be like, you own how many IPs? Why are we not making merch, cartoons, anything? Why are you literally only making COD? Like, I think Comcast wouldn't understand that.
Mm-hmm. A part of that interview was that puff piece on Bobby Kotick was he apparently at some point they wanted to acquire Time Warner, and then
Who?
Activision.
Activision wanted to acquire Time Warner?
Yeah, which seemed crazy. And it was him rambling on like about, yeah, then we'd make games on their stuff and they'd make TV shows of our stuff. And it's like, I know this is all complete fake, but this seems crazy to even say out loud.
By the way, any article where you let Bobby Kotick talk and you quote him directly is a hit piece, just so we're clear.
Yes.
I assume he is just fucking on meds or coke or both at all times now, because he saw his fucking $800 million payday just vanish in front of his eyes.
Don't worry, I'm sure he'll get away with some of the $4 billion.
Right.
Oh yeah, by the way, Activision has $12 billion on hand, but Bobby Kotick says that talent wants too much money nowadays. It's problematic.
Yeah, it's really problematic that they have $12 billion in cash on hand.
That couldn't go anywhere though.
How does that work? Anyway, that's all so fucking insane. What a shit show. Get it together, game industry. We're gonna end up in a space where Analog's gonna go insane and launch their own original console for people to make games for, and they're gonna be like, "Yeah, we could do this." They're gonna be the fourth console. And the Steam Deck guys are gonna get really pissed when it succeeds at being viewed as the fourth console. That's it for Big Think this week. Coming tomorrow, Pikmin 3 Deluxe. As you can see, Bob is very excited, and I am very buff.
You're so strong inside that suit.
Yeah,
I feel like you've had some kind of airflow vacuum catastrophe, and you're about to die.
The air pressure on Earth has gone up since the last time I was there. I am soon going to implode. My suit was not calibrated, but that's okay. Bob's not even wearing a helmet.
Oh my god, I'm not safe.
Is your hat okay? It looks like it was attacked several times by bullborbs. Anyway, hey, Chris, what do you got going on in the next week?
I'm probably gonna stream Brave Fencer Musashi. I need to take a break from Inti Creates.
Nice.
I need to wait until more of their games go on sale, so I have to buy as few as possible at full price.
That's so smart.
Yeah, they are all prone to do that.
So people may recall earlier when I said I looked at the box art for Everybody 1-2 Switch and thought I saw the horse holding a gun. Just as Zach has made that real.
Oh no!
That's how it felt finding out that game's coming out. I can't believe it's exactly what we all imagined from that article. And then they're like, what? It's real now. It's $30. Fuck you. Aren't you curious? And I'm like, don't make me buy it for a stream.
I actually had a well, Dan, you can't fucking stream that shit.
Why not?
I'm sure it's gonna have the fucked up put it on a table in a tray in portable mode.
A lot of Everybody 1-2 Switch is online multiplayer oriented. It literally sounds like they're going for Jackbox's audience. Yeah, one of the modes is up to 50 players or some shit.
The fact they just announced this callously now makes me think like, yeah, this is going out to die, but our investors won't let us throw it away.
This is going out to die, but we might make a few bucks, and all news is good news, I guess.
This should have released at $10. 30 is clearly too much.
Does Dan have an axe to grind on the Steam Deck? Yeah, I own one. Hey, Dr. Aggro, do you got anything going on in the next week? And I'm not asking you.
Yeah,
The horse is
that's pretty
asking
smart.
you.
Oh my, sir.
Oh, no.
Fine, I'll stop fucking around in the caves and go to the fucking lightning temple. All right.
That sounds great. We'll see you all next week for Big Thick Dimension. Goodbye. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. Big Think Dimension is only possible because of you and the 48 cups of butterscotch pudding that showed up on my doorstep today. I should definitely eat them all in one sitting while you go to patreon.com/gbpodcast. Sign up and get some commentary tracks for up to 70 movies, I believe, and various other things. And also get access to the movie Isolation 119, something that is worth watching at least twice a year. That's patreon.com/gbpodcast.